Hello.
Hello, Zane, I've checked you in. Kathy, I've checked you in. And Luis, I've checked you in.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you for being early. If the three of you are early like that, I would hire you as an agent if I weren't one.
Thank you. I like to log in early so I make sure there's no technical difficulties.
I know nothing stresses me out more than not being able to log in.
No, I'm going to be late. I'm going to be late. Oh my God. Oh my God.
Hello, William. William, do you go by William or Bill?
I go by Will, actually.
Will. Okay, I didn't get either one of them right.
How you doing this afternoon?
Good, good. Which market center are you with? And I'll check you in.
City side.
Okay. All right. Thank you. You always know that they don't know you if they ask for William, right?
Right.
You know it's a solicitation call. And
I've been called worse.
Oh, yeah, okay. Well, I won't call you that. Hi, Alan. Hi. I'm checking you in.
Hello.
Hello.
How's it going, Miss Michelle?
Good, good. When are you going to come by and say hi to me?
One of these days, I'm gonna make it up to the office. I was up there on Friday to get my mailbox stuff, so there's some things in there. So maybe this Thursday. Yeah, we'll shoot for Thursday.
Okay. Oh, and I might be taking my grandchildren to the zoo on Thursday. You want to go with us?
Sure, I'm down to go to the zoo.
They're in from Charlotte, so that's what they want to do. So I may be riding a little train.
I hear that one.
Lynn Portwood, I see you. You are which? Oh, City Side. I automatically go to City Side because you've got the largest attendance, and I was right.
That's right. Hello.
Good. Good, good, good. Did y'all have a good weekend? Anybody show property or do anything with your real estate license? If not,
My buyer switched financing, so that is a debacle right now.
oh gosh, yeah.
No fun.
I was in mortgage lending for 29 years, so I get that.
Well, we're supposed to close on the 31st, so fingers crossed.
Uh-oh. What'd they change to?
Conventional and 97%, but then he makes too much overtime, so they had to switch him to FHA.
Oh, did the seller accept it?
They're doing the appraisal today, so we'll see.
Have you let that listing agent
Yeah.
know? Oh, good.
Oh yeah,
Good. Okay.
yeah. They're not real happy about it, but
No.
if he's able to get the loan, it doesn't really matter how they get the loan. As long as he buys a house.
Well, yeah. In theory, you are correct. Yeah.
As long as the appraisal comes back good and there's
yes, exactly.
when they did the inspection, there's only a couple of things and it was very minor, and the seller had already done a previous inspection just to get the house ready. So
Okay.
we'll see. We'll see.
All right. Well, hey, sometimes that happens. All right. Daniel Conway, I see you're here. I'm checking you in. Melissa, which market center are you with? Uh-oh, you're going to have to.
Hi. So I'm with Buckhead.
Buckhead. Okay. Yes. All right. Let me turn the page. Yes, here you are. You're checked in. Good job.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen. Thank you. Oh, I see one of mine coming on. Hello. All right, I'm getting you checked in. All right, checked in. So we've got two from Keller Williams, Atlanta North. Good going. All right. I love the early birds. You're on my good. Oh, Sierra Jenkins. Hello, Sierra. How are you?
Hi, I'm good.
Good.
Thank you.
Tell me which market center you're with and I'll get you. Oh, I found you. Atlanta Perimeter.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, you're checked in. So when I start
Thank you.
reading the role, if I didn't mention your name and I've told you you're checked in, you are checked in, okay? Justin Bridges. Hello, Justin. Which market center are you with, please? You'll have to unmute so I can check you in. Justin, can you hear me? Wave if you hear me, Justin Bridges. Oh, his sound must not have come on. Karen Marshall. Karen, which market center are you with? Ah, I found you, City Side. I default
Yes.
City Side right away because that's the biggest contingency. Sandra Stewart,
Hi.
Market Center,
Perimeter.
Perimeter. Okay, great. I'll get you checked in.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. All right. Okay, I got you in. Kelby Tarpley. Hello, Kelby. Market Center, please, is City Side. I'm jumping right there and checking you in. Mike Woodside. He is which market center? Oh, Buckhead. Okay. All right, got you. All right, if I've told you you're checked in and I'm reading I'm just doing this to move pretty quickly. Do not be concerned if I did not read your name when we do roll because I've already got you checked in. You were the early bird. You're on my good list here. Okay, oh, wow, all of a sudden, lots of people are in. Thank you. Cassandra Campbell, your market center is?
City side.
City Side, of course. Okay.
Sorry, Michelle. This is Justin. I'm with City Side as well. I was on the phone.
Okay, Justin, thank you for speaking up. And I'll be with you all in just a minute. Let me get Cassandra. Here she is, checked in. And the next one, Izzy. Hi, Izzy. How are you?
I'm doing all right. Thank you. How are you?
Good, thank you. And you are with which market center?
Buckhead.
Oh, Buckhead. Fantastic. All of Buckhead is here. Good. All right. Sally, is it Hong? Am I saying that? Okay.
Yeah.
And you are with which market center? Oh, Peachtree Road. I just found you. Okay. All right. And then Tamika Walker. You are with City Side. Good
Yes.
job. Thank you. Katrina. Hello, Katrina. I've checked you in. Thank you. Alicia James. Hello, Market Center. Hi.
City side.
Of course. Let me find you, Alicia, right at the top. Okay, thank you. You're checked in. April Marable. Which market center?
I'm with, I think it's 247 Perimeter.
Oh, Perimeter. That's what helps me.
Oh, yeah.
Great. Okay. Yes, you are. Thank you. And Bala, hello, Bala. I know where you are at, so you don't need to answer that question. Bala's with the famous Keller Williams Atlanta North.
There they go.
Yes. Okay. Gotcha.
Oops, sorry, I had you muted if you said my name. Sorry about that.
I hadn't gotten there yet, but I'm coming. Kamisha Clark, City Side? No, see, I'm guessing.
Perimeter.
Perimeter. Okay, the famous Perimeter. Let's see, Kamisha Clark. Okay, let me. Kamisha, or Tamish, no. Wait a minute. All the names just moved around. So as you check it, Kamisha, are you, are you taking this as a audit? Or are you taking it as a class? I'm looking, I'm just not seeing.
As a class.
Okay.
I started last week.
Okay, all right, great, thank you. Robin Butler, the Market Center, please.
247 Atlanta Perimeter.
Atlanta Perimeter. Okay, I see you. You are checked in. Okay, it's 102. I'm gonna start reading through and then we'll do the list and get going. All right, I was trying to jump on this and you all came in, so great. If I told you you're checked in, do not be alarmed if I don't read your name. If I read your name, if you'll make sure you're off mute just during this time and then answer. We've got, let's start. Rochelle Bridges Johnson.
I am here.
Fantastic, thank you.
You're
How
welcome.
about- Thank you. Danielle Fasekia Ellis. Got, okay. So no Danielle yet? Okay, we'll just keep going. Kyle Rasili.
Here.
Hi, and I know you're just taking it to take it. Good for you. Good. Thank you, Kyle. Good to see you. All right, I'm on to city side. Akira Kriar.
Career, yes. Here.
Thank you for correcting me. Obviously, I keep call you and solicit you. You know, I don't know you, so I'll get it right later. Katie Postema. Katie. Catie. Not pronouncing it correctly. Okay, we'll come back. Crystal Goodwin.
Here.
Thank you. All right, James Wilson. James Wilson. Jamarius Jackson. Jasmine Alexander.
Here.
Hello. All right, Maureen Reimer.
I am here. Hello.
Hello, thank you. All right, Cecilia. Do we have Cecilia? Okay. How about Desiree Jones? Desiree's auditing, so I'm not too worried about that. Toronto Lewis. Okay. And Addison Rush. And Bridget Justice.
I'm here.
Hi, okay, thank you. All right, anybody that's on here that I did not call your name either in the beginning?
Yes, me. Mike
Okay.
Woodside.
Say that again?
Mike Woodside.
Oh, I think I did.
Okay.
Your market center is
Buckhead.
Buckhead. Yes, I did.
Okay.
You are checked in. Anybody
And
else?
Delana Hill,
Delana, okay.
Yes.
And you're with which market center?
Peachtree Road.
Okay. All right. Okay, thank you. I didn't. Okay, all right. Anybody else?
Also, one more, Grace May. I'm with Peachtree Road as well.
Oh, I got you checked in.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you. I may have just seen you checked in and didn't tell you. So
Okay.
thank you. Okay, so we've got
Lauren
40
Reed, one more.
Oh,
Lauren
okay.
Reed.
Okay,
with Peachtree Road.
Peachtree Road. Okay. Got it. Okay, so we should. Okay, I think we've got everybody now. Did you all enjoy your weekend?
Yes.
Good. Did you need it after going through Ignite intense ignite.
Yes.
I asked the group that got on about 10 till 1, anybody that worked with clients this weekend? Oh, Bala did. Who else? Speak up. Robin, you worked with, okay, who else?
I do.
Great. Do you think that it helped you by having some things under your belt?
Yes.
Yes.
For
Yeah,
sure.
it's kind of spooky the first few times you work with people, isn't it? Good, good. I hope you all do better than I did. I did not really remember how to use my super key the very first time I went out. And it was embarrassing. Thank goodness it was friends of mine, but I had to call another agent and didn't realize that I had to push underneath the box to get the key out. So for you that have worked with clients, you're old hat on this now, but you that have not gone out, what I would suggest is that you get another agent's lockbox and practice on it before you go out. You will feel much better. Did anybody that the first time not get how they were opening oh, look at Bala, he's got a box.
I've practiced, and this weekend was like fumbling with it. Thank God it was a friend too, but that was this weekend.
Yeah, exactly. So, oh, good. I don't feel so bad. I did not do well. Thank goodness.
Just watched the YouTube video on it, so.
Oh, no.
Probably smart. I was like, you're not allowed to hold this against me.
Okay. That you can write really good contracts. You just can't open the doors, right? There you go. That's okay. We all go through it. I love when you tell the truth because it makes all the other people on this call or on this Zoom feel like, oh, you know what? I'm not the only one in this boat. So let's do this. I want to go over today's expectations before I introduce your speaker today. I'm going to just give her a little preface. She's amazing. She is one of our top agents in this office, and she does an amazing job. She handles things. I get to hear what I call opportunities. You could call them problems with agents, and I never get a call from her. So you are learning from one of the best in how to navigate. But today the expectations are that we want you to understand how to use the pre-listing packet effectively. How many of you did your homework and looked at these things? You can be honest, because if you did, it's going to be helpful, because when Shelley is talking today, you're going to kind of get it because you've already reviewed it. If you didn't have the opportunity or just didn't do it, I would strongly, strongly recommend it, because in today's market, who do you think gets deals done better? The selling agent working with buyers, or the listing agent that has the listing? What do you think?
The listing agent.
Listing, exactly. Why do you think that's so?
Seller's market.
Exactly. There was one agent here in our office. She had a very, what I've called entry-level affordable house market, a listing. And I want to say it was 350, somewhere around there. She had 79 offers. Can you imagine competing in that circle of 79 agents? First of all, you got to be darn good to get it, because you don't have to be seasoned. You just have to know your contracts. But that's why I say pay special attention to the listing today, because it's a much better way, I think personally, to make an income, because you're not driving all over creation, and rushing. When I first got in the business, it was when the market started turning, and it had been a buyer's market, and then it turned to a seller's market pretty quickly. And I would call my clients and I go, hurry, 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 get in the car. Come on, we got to go. And I would take my computer with me so that after we saw it, do you want to write an offer? And we'd run to the nearest Wi-Fi spot. And that's really what it is today, tenfold. So listings, if you pay attention to this, you will make your life much, much easier. It will shift. That's why we teach about buyers as well. And the good thing is sometimes if you get listings, what could you get in addition to the listing?
Give both.
You can be, that's right. So you got to know how to do both, right? Exactly. Good. And then there are listing presentations. And if you go into mykw.kw Connect, if you have not done that, or if you don't have your printed materials, there is a section in there that tells you, gives you the listing presentation. You want to know how to do that, because when you go to a listing presentation, do you think you're talking more or asking questions more?
Asking questions.
That's right. That's right. So wouldn't it be helpful to know what questions you should be asking, right? Yeah, it would be. So that information is going to be down there. Now, is that all inclusive? No, it's not, but it gets you probably 99% of the way there. You might have other questions based on how they answer, but that gives you a format to go through each time. And then when you go to a listing, what's the ultimate goal? What do you think that goal is?
Come up with a listing agreement.
You got it, Bala, absolutely. So you want to walk away with a listing agreement to be signed. So all of these things are going to be covered today. And I want somebody, 2 or 3 people, I want you to be brave, and I want you, in the homework assignment, it says share your big why. It says with friends or family members. Well, we're your friends. So I want 3 people to share their big why. Why are you doing this? Oh gosh, we could just sit here all day, but there's no wrong answer.
I'll share.
Okay.
Okay. So pretty much my why is my 2 younger siblings that I have.
Okay.
I want to set a good example for them and show them that hard work does pay off. And also for myself too, to show myself that I could do something that I never thought that I could do, or, I can get to a certain level.
Great. Thank you for sharing. That's a terrific. So you said you have a 2-year-old, correct?
No. I said I have 2 younger siblings.
Oh, you have 2 younger siblings. Oh gosh, I've just given you a child. I'm sorry. Right. Well, but that's great, because they will, we look around with who we surround. And so if you're setting an example and leading the way, good for you. Who else wants to share their big why? Why are you doing this?
I'll share.
Okay.
I know I've already shared with the other group with Cece, but I have a 3-year-old daughter, and she is special needs. So she is going to require like a special school. Hope Bridge is the therapy center that she'll be attending. Okay. And she'll be starting any day now. So it's going to be an additional $900 a month as far as copays that my insurance doesn't cover. So I'm hoping to help with that as well as other finances.
Crystal, you will do it.
Yes.
You will do it. Good for you. Thank you for sharing. One more. Who would like to share with us? See, these are great reasons.
I will.
Okay, Lynn Horwood, go.
So in addition to financial freedom, of course, the big thing for me is flexibility. I have a 2-year-old and a 5-year-old. And my previous career, it was crazy hours, lots of travel. So I'm just looking forward to, still being able to compensate financially, but having a better work-life balance.
Good, good. All these are great reasons. So thank you all for sharing, because if you've not thought of why you're doing it, it will make it much more rewarding, and it will keep you focused on why you're doing this every single day, because quite frankly, there are really fun days, and then some days they're not so fun. And when you have the not so fun, all you need to do is remember why you're doing this, and it gets you through to back to that part where you're okay.
Hey, Michelle, can I share?
Yes, Shelley, please share.
Okay. So I love what I do. And I absolutely love what I do. I love the people that I meet. And that gives me every day I get up in the morning and I pray for good day, and I pray for the good people that are going to come into my life.
I love it. Thank you. And you come into our lives today, Shelley, and she's going to help you realize your dreams. How many of you watch the videos in the Ignite homework? Okay. If you did not, I'm going to tell you to go back and do it. You'll want to go into the student resources in Ignite. And if you do not know where that's at break time, I'll show you. We'll not take time right now, but the two videos that you were to watch was to create a system to secure listings. So that's going to help you get organized and get those listings. And there was one that was listing presentations on how to do it. Neither one of these are terribly long. One is 5 minutes and 30 seconds. The other is 16 minutes and 6 seconds. What I would tell you is watch those, because it can make a difference, and it gives you a different perspective on how professional agents are doing it. Is anybody doing their 10-4? Do you know what I mean by the 10-4? If you know what I mean, you can speak up. Okay, let me just, oh.
Yes.
So it's the daily plan where we're supposed to add 10 contacts to our command database,
correct,
make 10 connections or talk to 10 people, write 10 handwritten notes, and then preview homes probably for each day of the week.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you. If you're not putting contact, if you're not making contacts and putting them in your database now is the time to get started, because you've got to have people to contact to have a business. I hope they just come to you, but there really comes a point where you've got to be, entering these in, because that is part of your job. If you want to say, what is my job? You need to be making contacts, and then you record them. And then you can follow the results, because once you put them in command, there are ways to track what you are doing. If you're not doing that, you are just hoping that you remember to call somebody, or you're hoping that they remember to call you. And guess what? Until you contact them enough times, you probably won't get contacted except by real close family or maybe real close friends. I have been in this position for 3 years, and if anything I can tell you about new agents, is the failure to do the contact database and the follow up on it is a quick exit out of the business, because you just don't have the business to create. So please be, I say that and I stay on our agents, but I hope you'll take it to heart, because it will make a difference. And then on page 9 of your book, one of the things I talked about, how many people remember me telling the story about me writing a thank you note to someone that I met at a baby shower? Okay, and that resulted in they'd never gotten a handwritten thank you note. They weren't I guess that speaks my age, but that's okay. I did it, and I ended up making $14,500 in commission 2 months later after I had sent it and they contacted me. There was nothing. I didn't pay for a lead. I didn't pay for anything. It was just simply reaching out. So please, if you think that thank you notes don't work, you really want to rethink that again. Try it. I actually send thank you notes to our agents, and I had one posted on Facebook that she had never gotten a thank you note. She had been with another brokerage from one of the brokers. And the funny thing is I write in cursive. Not everybody can read it these days, I've learned. So she said it took her about 5 times to be able to read it. I guess I sent her a secret note, but she read it and she posted it on Facebook. So people do pay attention to that. So we are done, but I'm going to end this and I'm going to turn it over to Shelley. She knows that you're going to take a break at 2:30. We know that we are to stay stationary during this event so that we can get credit for it. And I have to take screenshots at 2:30, and then I'll take them at 2:45, and then at the end of the day. But please, if you have any questions, I will hang on during the break or afterwards, and I'm happy to help you. So with that said, I'm tired of talking. I'm going to give it to Shelley because she really knows what she's doing. And Shelley Werner is one of our agents. She's been in the business quite a while. And I know you've been with our office since 2008. Am I remember? Okay. Oh, good memory. And that she's on the ALC, the Associate Leadership Council, in the top 10% of the office. And so take it away, Shelley.
So hi, everybody. Hope you all doing great. And I'm going to start, actually, I'm going to go back for a second and discuss about a few things that I think are important. Does anybody know what a DISC profile is? Raise your hands if you do. Tell me, talk, because I can't see everybody on the screen. Does anybody know what a DISC profile is?
Is it like a personality test type thing?
Personality test, yes. Did any one of you took the personality test prior to coming to Keller Williams? I sure hope so. Do you see any hands button up? Didn't take personality test? Nothing?
I've taken it before, Shelley. This is Robin. Yes.
Okay. So I'm going to say to you is that my suggestion to you is number 1 on the list. Put that listing aside. Forget listings for a moment. Forget buyers. Take personality test, because when you're talking to people, you have to figure out what kind of personality, who you're talking to. Are you talking to somebody like me that I'm a high D? And watch how I'm saying it. I'm going to use, and what I'm saying to you, you're going to learn it also into bold. If you haven't taken bold, highly suggest it. But you must take a personality test for yourself in order to figure out where you stand, in order to know how to talk to these sellers. So if it's somebody like me, then I'm fast. If you don't get to the point, I give you literally 10 seconds, I hang up the phone. I literally hang up the phone. And when you call up a lead, and you say, hey, I am so-and-so I'm Shelley from Keller Williams, that, it depends on, you should gauge within literally 30 seconds to what kind of person is sitting on the other side. Are they easy? Are they fast? Are they obnoxious? Usually, a lot of time they're obnoxious, but that's the way for you to connect with people. One of the things that we say is you got to mirror your clients. So in order to mirror them and to know how to talk to them, if you don't know how to mirror them, then forget it. You might as well don't talk to anybody. Hang up the phone. Hang up the phone. So please do, there is, it's a link that you can go, it's Anthony Robbins Coaching. Anthony Robbins Coaching. and it's a free disc profile. Please go on it. Please figure out who you are and how you can communicate with your clients. So that's me just telling you. Okay. So another things that I would recommend to you, when we are in Bold, we talk a lot. I don't know if you've ever heard the say Ford, talk about Ford, F-O-R-D. Okay. So Ford stands for friends, occupation, recreation, and dreams. And this is all leading for you to start to make your phone calls, because if you're not on the phone, I can tell you all, you're not making money. If you don't knock on people's doors and talking to people, you're not going to make money. It's just the way the business is. So again, this is part of you. You take your disc profile, you know who you are. Maybe you are more very social and very detail oriented, or maybe you are, I'm a high D and also very detail oriented. Some people are not detail oriented. You must know who you're talking to. So when you're talking to people, the Ford basically said, talk about friends, you friends with them or you're not friends with them. Talk about occupation. What do you do? What do you do for a living? Talk about recreation. Oh, did your kids play baseball today? What was your weekend like? Did you see a football match or something that you talk about that you know in common? Did you go to a music concert or something that you can connect to your client, to the person who is, if it's not your friend, if let's say it's a stranger, that if it's your friend, even more so, right? And the third is about the dreams. Where do you want to be 2 years, 5 years, 10 years from now? Do you want us to be sitting on the beach? Do you want to be moving to Florida? Do you want to downsize? And let me tell you something, those clients that tell you that they're going to move 5 years from now, sometimes they move within this year because they figure out that they can make a lot of money. And I cannot even tell you how much that story goes on and on all the time. I hear it all day long. Oh, I thought I'm going to sell in 10 years, but if you're going to give me a good price, I'm going to go and sell it in the next month. Right there. That's all you needed. That one phone call. Okay. So that's why, remember that Ford. And again, if you ever get to do Bold, please do it. I think it's going to be great. So past that, move on. I'm on page 11, and we talked about pre-listing package and listing presentation. These days is a little bit different because of COVID. So I suggest that you can email the pre-listing package. You don't have to have it in hard copy. And when you talk to somebody who has an interest and say, why don't you come over? You always send the pre-listing package prior to meeting them. And if they say to you, I'm going to list in 3-6 months, send them a pre-listing package. It doesn't, whatever it is. And again, you have the resources in command. There is also a company that is free through Keller Williams. It is MLMS. Market Lewis. What is it, Michelle? Market Lewis. You know what I mean? Yeah, MLMS.com.
Yeah.
And they have free downloads of buyer presentation and seller presentation. So go there. It's free. Free. You don't have to think once. And okay, so another thing is, let's talk about pre-listing. If you think that many people are actually looking word by word what it says on it, the answer is no. Truly no. They're just glazing through it. They're like, okay, she sent me a pre-listing. Some of them read it a little bit more, but majority know that you have a nice presentation and they really want to know about you. They want to hear they want to know about you. What are you going to do for them? So that's one way. And then the listing presentation is also, is also on command. Another place to get those listing presentation and pre-listing is in Chartmaster. If you all don't know how to get it, ask your asking your marketing center, but Chartmaster does have those listing presentation and is ready to go. So all you have to do is just print it and that, or copy it, download it, and you have it. So that's an easy thing. Does anybody know how many leads it takes to get to closing? How many people you need to talk to in order to get to a closing? Michelle, how are they supposed to answer me? How do I know?
Oh, let them guess.
Oh, okay. Let them talk. Okay. Does anybody know how many people you're supposed to talk to? Sorry?
I think it depends on your conversion rate.
No, it's 12, isn't it, Shelley? It's 12 for every.
How many leads you're supposed to talk to? How many leads you're supposed to talk to prior to getting one closing?
12.
It's 100.
100.
100 leads in order to get to one closing. You can be on 10 appointments in order to get to one closing, but we say you got to talk to 100 leads, 100 people. So I swear to you, I have this cup. I make phone calls every day. Okay, you're gonna laugh. So I have this cup, and I have like a pennies jug next to me. And every time somebody says no, I put a penny into the jug. That's what my coach taught me to do. So I love it. They say no, man, I got one penny in my jug, but it's 100. So how many of you think, so let's say you cannot make 100 phone calls. If you divide it, how many phone calls you can make? And when I say leads, meaning like the people that you are actually talking to. So how many people, give me numbers, how many people you can talk to per day in order to talk about real estate? Give me numbers. How many each one of you can do?
10.
Okay. So if you need to do 100 to do one closing per week, right? If you say 10, right? Then how are you going to multiply that?
Takes 10 weeks to do one closing.
Right. So you all just need to remember 100 people to talk to have one closing. And the more people you talk to, the more closing you'll have. That's really the number that we all focus on. Well, leads, and that's a matter of, so you say to me, well, how I'm going to get 100 leads per day? How I'm going to get all these phone numbers to talk to? Who do I talk to? Right? I mean, I don't have that many people in my database, right? So one of the things I think that your market center should be able to give you neighborhoods list. I'm not sure if they do or they don't. If you are not on Mojo, you may want to go on Mojo. It's a company that does a speed dial and also spits out phone numbers. But I believe your market center will be able to give you neighborhood lists. And if they can give you a neighborhood list, that's all you need. You start dialing from morning till night. So that's where the leads come from. So the leads lead you to appointments and to contracts. Now, are you going to have some failing lists? The answer is yes, but it's just part of our process. Nowadays, probably not. So I'm on page, the next page, which is 12, that do you all think you can get, when you have a listing, how do you go about getting buyers, do you think? What do you think? How do you get buyers from listings? Just because you put a sign doesn't mean anything.
You have to market. Doing an open house, market.
Open house. That's it. That's the magic thing. I can tell you that I was listening to top real estate teams in the country. And I remember there's one of them that is making, his GCI is crazy in the millions. And he said, I do at least 30, at least twice a week an open house. And trust me, he doesn't have to do an open house. He can sit there and count, do nothing. But that's the way that he's getting his leads from. So all I can say is that even if those listings do bring you buyers. And that's a reason also, because let's say a buyer comes in and says to you, well, I love this house, but it's really not for me. What do you think you can do in order to create more listings?
Can you tell me what you need?
Right. But can you knock on others' neighbors' door and ask them if they want to sell their home because you have another buyer? Can you do that in order to get more listings? So getting listings is great, but you need to, but they're just part, because one rolls to the second one and to the third one. So I am a true believer. Now it's a little bit more challenging per se with COVID, but knocking on people's doors and asking them for more business is a great way to get more business. And just say, hey, I got buyers that just came to my open house. Or even if it wasn't your listing, let's say you did an open house for somebody else, right? Use that tool, knock on people's doors. People are really nice when you answer the door. I promise you, they won't slam the door at you. So, Michelle, I believe that now it's.
You ready for the video? Let me go ahead and I'm going to share the screen with you all. Make sure that you see it. Okay, bear with me 1 second. Okay, do you see my screen where it says Power Session 4? Just nod your head. Oh, good. Okay. All right, let me go ahead and turn that video on. And let me make sure we are ready to go. Then you see step 1. Oh, good. We're going along just fine. Okay.
Hi, I'm Josh Bath from Vancouver, Canada. I'm with Keller Williams for 8 years and been selling real estate for 18 years. Now I'm going to walk you through my listing presentation, and it's a 3-step process. First part is preparation. Second part is presentation. And the third part is follow-up. A lot of my listings come by way of referral and repeat. And so when the call comes in and they want me to come over and list their home, I have a conversation about what their needs are. What exactly is it you're looking to do? Are you moving up? Are you moving down? And tell me exactly what the reasons are that they're selling for. I get a real sense of what direction that they want to go. One of the things that we've done to make my appointment setting a little easier is we've time blocked. We follow what Gary says. He says time block everything that you do. And we've time blocked our slots in advance for listing appointments. Every day, Monday to Friday, we have a slot available at 4 o'clock and a second slot available at 5:30. So I've got a potential of 10 listing appointments Monday to Friday. That makes my life a lot easier because I'm able to time block my lead generation first thing in the morning and not have my day so loose and scattered. So I'm trying to scramble on where to put a listing appointment. What we do now in our team is we've decided to go paperless with our evaluations, our CMAs. So instead of printing off paper, what we'll do is we'll take it on the computer and convert it to PDF, mark it up with a highlighter from there on the computer, and then create an email from that, email that package off to our client prior to going out to their home to list it. What I do when I go on a listing presentation is I meet the sellers at the door and I have them take me on a tour of their property. During that time, I'm actually asking them to tell me again, to recap again, what their motivation is for selling. So I'm getting them more comfortable with them moving out of their house is what I'm doing. That usually takes about 5 minutes. And when we're done there, we transition right over to the kitchen table. We'll talk about the market, the evaluation itself, and that in itself is about 15 minutes. Once we've agreed upon a price that we're going to list at, we'll sign a listing contract. They sign the initial 3-page contract. They sign the property disclosure statement, and they sign the working with a realtor brochure. Outside of those 3 documents, that's it. I send in my measuring company to come in and measure the home. I send in my stager who's going to contact them to come in and stage the home. And once she's done, then I send in the photographer and take the photos of the home. We always do a follow-up with them as well, just to say, how did that go? What was that experience like for you? Keeps them feeling like they're in control and very much a part of the process. And it lets them know that we're paying attention to every detail on their listing prior to it even being on the market. One of the expectations that I set with the sellers is that I phone them twice a week on purpose. So I set their expectation for me to phone them on Monday mornings with what's called a Monday morning update, where I review everything that's happened for their home over the past weekend with them. The second call that I set them up for to expect is on Fridays, and that's a Friday morning market update. And what I've set them up for is that I'm going to talk to them about any new listings that have hit the market, any expireds that have come off the market, and any solds that have actually just happened since that past week. They also know that on Friday, we're going to be talking about the numbers. Does the current list price that we're at right now still make sense in relation to the latest listings or the most current solds? They know in advance that that conversation could lead to a price reduction. And a lot of times they bring that on themselves. They say, hey, look, you know what? It looks like we might be a bit high, Josh. Should we bring it down? So it's a natural transition to a price reduction. One of the reasons I choose not to do a pre-listing package is when I'm sitting in front of them, I really want their full focus and attention. I want their attention on me, and I want to be able to ask them questions where they're giving me their full attention and not flipping through a pre-listing package. Most of their questions are going to come straight from their gut, and that's really what I'm looking for. I'm Josh Bath, and I just shared my listing presentation with you, and I wish you all the best with yours.
All right, I'm going to let Shelley take it back over. So I'm going to stop sharing and give to Shelley your ahas from that. Was there one thing you learned that you didn't think about before?
I think for me, it was the setting up the buyers, your clients, for the Monday and Friday calls. I think that's a great way because I know that they're really anxious throughout the week, and just having them already having an expected call, it might halt any late night calls or texts or midweek questions that they, might have. It kind of opens up your own schedule too.
Good, wonderful. Any other ahas?
So I'm going to share that one of the things that people say to you sometimes in a listing presentation, you'll say, it's actually, I believe it said it here in the book, that do you walk with your sellers, or do you let them just walk on your own in the house? So there is two frame of thoughts on that. The frame of thoughts is walking it without the sellers is because you're looking from the buyer's eyes, and you don't need the seller to be like the monkey right here sitting on top and saying, oh, look at this, look at this, look at this, look at this. So that, that's one frame of thought. The other frame of thought is to walk with the seller, and I believe that's what that listing video said. Walk with them. Have them show you the different upgrades in the house that they have done, and make notes on it. So I don't even walk with a pad. I literally just walk with my phone, and I start typing as I'm going along, moving in the house, and I'm putting, okay, they have this, they have that. Oh, they have heated floors in the master bathrooms. How would I know that if they didn't tell me? You know what I mean? It doesn't show a heated floor somewhere. So that was my just something that I wanted to share with you. When you're sometimes wondering, do you want to go by yourself? Sometimes the seller will say, do you want me to walk with you? And I do think that it's a good idea to walk with the seller so they can show you the improvements. It may not be important for us for the listing, and I never say, oh, this is not important. At the same time, you are creating communication with your sellers, and that is super important.
Shelley.
Yeah.
I have a question. He talked about a stager and a photographer. Okay, right. So where does that come? Is that someone we get from Keller Williams, or how does that transpire?
Okay. So the stager, at this point, I would say to you, because if you haven't so a stager and a photographer comes out from your own money. The stager is costly. I can tell you right now. I don't think that you need to have a stager right away. I think that you pretty much know there is a checklist here. Get your house clean, get rid of all your family pictures, declutter, 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 declutter. So you have been in other homes, so you can see what the house needs. So if you are not to bring a stager, I would say to you, start with just saying, give them a checklist of what you see that should be not in the house, right? What that will need to do. A lot of it is packing, a lot of it is moving things around. So if they have if they have purple walls, I would say you need to paint your purple walls in your family room, because you're not going to sell it. Tell you right now. The stager is good also because they are being the bad cop. I'm always the good cop. The stager is the bad cop. So in a way that really works for me. I mean, I can give you, we have stagers that are, I believe every center should have information for stagers. You can ask your colleagues where you are in whatever KW you are, just put it on Facebook. You'll get so many people that responds to you. Usually the stagers will stay around that area where they are. So if you belong to Buckhead, KW, they're probably going to have stagers that are around that area. So you don't have to have it. Photographer, you have to have. There's no if and buts. You must have a professional photographer that takes your pictures. Please do that. Because doing your own pictures, I promise you, I don't care that you told me that you took a class. I could care less. A photographer that does real estate picture, it's an art. It really is. It's not just taking pictures. He knows what people are looking for. It's truly like an art. It's like a painting. So that would be, I would say to you, yes, go ahead. And if you don't know about a photographer, put it in your Facebook, in your market center. Ask, what do you guys use? Who do you? I will guarantee you within an hour you'll get so many names for that. Did that answer? Yeah. Answer your question?
Thank you.
Welcome. Any other questions for me? Nope. Okay. Move on. Page 13. So talk about pre-qualifying the sellers. So I can tell you from qualifying a lot. I pre-qualify a lot when I first talk to them, even on the first phone call. I try to get, because pre-qualifying is pretty much, remember Ford, right? Trying to figure out who they are, what they are. If they are talkative and they're going to talk to you, then you might as well know your script. Know what you have to ask for. You may call them like the day before. Again, really what the pre-qual says, call them the day before just to confirm your appointment and making sure that they understand that, and follow the questions that they are there. I can tell you that I get a lot of that information on my first phone call, a lot of it. What upgrades have you done? Where do you want to move to? Where do you see yourself moving, and how long what's a frame of a time? If I bring you a buyer today, would you move? So a lot of those questions can be answered before. So you may just want to call the day before. Let's say you did half of that list. You call the day before and you say, okay, then I just had a few other questions that I'll be able to give you an estimate. So I'll be able to know what your house looks like, what's the value of your home prior to me getting there. And I really do appreciate that. In terms of the pre-listing package, and you saw that, send it to them again before you go in. Send them the CMA before you get in. Don't print anything. I mean, if you want to print, that's great. I do both. I do print when I get there. I bring the listing presentation when I'm there, but we also email them We only email them the pre-listing. We do not bring both. So the pre-listing is a shorter version of the listing presentation. That's really what it is. It's just a little bit about me. I mean, tells them about me, tells them how we market, and that's it. It's probably no more than 7 pages. So do you guys have Chartmaster in your centers? Does anybody know what Chartmaster is? No? Michelle, they don't have Chartmaster in their
I can't speak for all. I mean, all of the Rawls group have Chartmasters. All of them do.
Right.
Ours is posted on our intranet.
Right.
If you're with another market center, you need to ask where you can find it and find out how to learn about it. If you're with us, Keller Williams, Atlanta North, reach out to Arthurine because you're new agents, and she can show you.
Yeah, so that's what I will do.
Yeah.
So the page 14 gives you all the pictures, all the questions that you should be asking. And my suggestion for you is that if you don't have a script player, you better have a script player by the end of this conversation. Then you all need to connect between each other and create a script player. So I have twice a week a script player, not even from Georgia. One is from Maine and the other one is from New Jersey, just so happen. And I script play. And those script plays are huge. I cannot even tell you how important they are. Just as important as y'all making phone calls, just because, people start to ask you a question and you say, oh my God, what I'm going to say now. So that would be my recommendation to you, just looking at that. So you're not going to choke when they start to ask you a question about that. On page 15, again, talking about the pre-listing package, just email the thing. Let's put it this way. Don't work on it for weeks, okay? You really should be working on it for 1 day or less than a day. And if you're getting all these tools, you have it on Command, you have it on MLMS, you have it on Chartmaster, you have all these different places to go look at. It's just a matter of a flavor. I promise you that they don't read it all. I promise you. But they know that you send them something. They know that you wrote a sweet note to them that says, I'm there to give you the highest price in least amount of time and less amount of pressure. That's all they care. Everything else looks pretty, what I call. Okay. On page 18, he talks about, it's all about the seller and how we're going to help you. And this is really where I am a true believer that this profile will help you a lot. So if you can read it and figure out who you are and how to mirror your clients, and mirror is a huge deal when you talk to people, then that would be my highly suggested question, and highly what I suggest. Any questions?
Shelly, I have a question. So you've said a couple of times how the DISC assessment influences how we talk. Can you give me an example of that so I can kind of go back and look at mine and see how to apply that?
Okay, so I am, for example, there is a high D. I am straight to the point. And so I'll give you an example. If you are the seller, let's pretend I am the seller. I am the seller and you are the agent, okay? So we're going to do a script right now. So you're calling me because you heard from the neighbor that I am thinking about selling my home. Okay. So I'm not going to throw too many objectives at you. But watch how I'm going to be. So, okay. So just remember, so you don't know anything about me, nothing, like completely nothing. And we're going to do two scenarios. So again, you got my phone number, just my phone number, and you probably have don't even have my address. You just know that your friend is a neighbor of mine. So ring, ring.
Oh, sorry. Ring. Can I do the ring, ring? Then you answer. Okay, ring, ring.
Hello?
Hi, Shelly.
Yes.
This is Robin with Keller Williams, Atlanta Perimeter. How are you today?
Good. Where'd you get my number?
So I'm calling because a friend of mine who's your neighbor gave me your information and said that you may be interested in selling this year. Is that right?
Yeah, possibly. Listen, I have a lesson to take in a few minutes, a tennis lesson to go to. Let's talk later.
Yeah, that sounds great. What time will work for you later?
Okay,
today
3 o'clock will be great.
3 o'clock today works?
Yep.
Great, Shayla. I look forward to talking to you at 3 o'clock today. I'll give you a call then.
Thank you.
Thanks. Have a great one.
Good. So you see how I made it really short because I basically didn't give you the time of the day. I just wanted to get off the phone and be completely, so I'm straight to the point. What do you want? Where'd you get my number? And I could be a lot more obnoxious, but I'm being nice. Okay, so now I'm gonna do a different personality, okay? So you do the ring, ring again. We're doing the same thing. So you calling me. Ring, ring.
Ring, ring.
Hello?
Hi, Shelly.
Yeah.
This is Robin with Keller Williams, Atlanta Perimeter. How are you today?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Well, I'm calling you because my friend who's your neighbor said that you were interested in selling this year. Is that right?
Absolutely. And by the way, which friend was that? I have a lot of friends.
That was Michelle. I think she lives a couple of doors down from you.
Oh, yes, of course. Yeah, we have kids the same age. Yeah, well, thanks for calling me.
Yeah, so I'm excited to help you out. So tell me when you're thinking about moving.
Well, we're probably thinking about 3 months or so. Do you think it's a good time?
I think it's a great time to sell. Yeah, we can definitely help you with that. And where will you be going to next?
I think we want to really move to a bigger home. We need a basement. We don't have a basement right now. So do you think you'll be able to help us?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And are you planning to move in the same area? Because I didn't.
We want to stay in the same school district. Yes.
Okay. Sounds good. Yeah, we can definitely help with that. What I like to do now, Shelly, is actually set up a time that we can talk more so I can get more information about your needs and your family needs. Does tomorrow work? What time tomorrow do you have?
At 2 o'clock. Would that be okay for you?
That works perfectly for me.
Okay.
So let's do 2 o'clock tomorrow.
That's great. Okay. So you can see how nice I was to you, right?
Yeah.
So I was really nice. I was very talkative. I'm a high A with an S to it. And you made that appointment. But if I was not nice to you, I could be a lot worse on the first one, then you wouldn't gotten an appointment. And I probably, the next time you'll call me, I probably even won't answer. So, so that's where personality matters. That's how you need to learn who I am and what I am. So you can mirror me, because if you don't know how to mirror me, you don't have the tools in your box in order to know how to move forward. That makes sense? You did really good. Good job. Yeah. But one thing, do y'all need to remember, don't get discouraged if you get a lot of people that are high D. They are just literally hang up the phone at you. Just part of the business. I'm like, great. Have a great day. So, yeah. So does that make sense, what I said? Okay. So I'm moving to page, anybody has any questions? Nope. Okay. Page 17, when you're getting ready to list, and they're talking about the affecting value of the property. And I'm sure you all know what affects the property. In these days market, I can tell you that it's hard to get listing, and everybody think their house is worth $1 million, and it's not the case. Just because you put a lipstick on the house, it doesn't mean that you're going to get $1 million. It's just not going to happen. So knowing your when you're getting ready to list, people need to understand that, but not in a rude way. Hey, it's very beautiful that you did a new countertops, but you haven't replaced the old kitchen cabinetry. You haven't replaced your appliances, and you're not going to get the same price as the next door neighbor for $50,000 more. It's just not going to happen. So preparing for that listing is huge. Cannot even tell you how huge it is. And having them understand that their house is worth great money, but there is certain amount of money that you can take for the house. And that's why, I think do you guys do a lot of previews? Do you go preview homes? Anybody preview homes? No?
Starting to.
Didn't.
Okay. Anybody goes to model homes in neighborhoods? Okay. I highly recommend to go once a week, just once a week. Go during the week. Don't go on the weekend when it's crazy. Go once a week. Make yourself a list to say, I'm going to go once a week to one neighborhood and check what new communities look like. Doesn't matter what price point. If it's $1 million, it's a 800 or it's a 300. Please do that so you can understand your competition and you can understand why a buyer now these days is willing to drive 20 minutes north in order to get a different house, a new house. And that affects our listings 1,000%. It really does. So when the seller comes and says, I want to list it for 500, and you're looking and you know that it's not going to list for 450, then that's a problem. At that point, you have to make a decision. Do you want to take the listing or not? And overpriced listing is very difficult. It's very, very difficult. So I almost I walk away if that is how much overpriced it is. Or you can say, you know what, I will list it for 500. If we do not get an offer for the first week, you agree to me to reduce it to 475. Second week, it's going to be another 2%. And you literally have it in your listing agreement, because otherwise if you will never sell that. I promise you. And those listings become a burden to you. It will suck your life. I promise you it will. So, so that's about getting ready for the listing, knowing your prices. On page 18, it definitely talks about prices if you are at market value or above market value. And the market, as you all know, will tell us if the buyers will tell the seller if it's the right price or the wrong price. But, it's interesting that sellers don't drive to other locations like we do. And sometimes we think that we just know it all, they know everything, and they really don't. I guarantee you that if you are in Buckhead, you probably know the prices in Midtown, and you know the prices in the east side of town, and you would know the prices in Grant Park. You know the difference between them, but not necessarily sellers don't necessarily know that, and they don't understand in today's market that people are looking in other locations.
So Shelley, quick question. Recently, I see a couple of houses priced below the market price. When I say market price, what I compare is the CMA and the Zillow and probably Realtor. And if it is around 450, people price it at 430, and then a whole bunch of crowd comes and then competing against each other. Is that a reasonable strategy, or it is putting it at the market pricing is the right strategy?
I think putting it at the right price, creating this hoopla of a lot of people underselling it is not healthy. Is really not healthy. Okay. Because you will get it at 450 if you feel that it's 450. I mean, the agents, and I've seen very few homes that are underpriced. I definitely see more homes that are overpriced. So the underpricing, I don't find it to be a smart thing.
Okay. Thank you.
Because the buyers will tell us if it's if it is overpriced. They really will.
So
I mean, they 100% will.
when they underprice, I could see a whole bunch of people standing outside, 40 people, you know, and then you had to wait for your turn, and 2 days later, the seller's agent increased the price to above the market level. You know,
Right.
it may be a
That's
strategy.
not a good business, to my opinion. I've seen it. I've seen it 2 weeks ago. Yeah. They went from 485 to 525, 525 because they got 1 million people walking in the doors.
There you go. That's what. Okay.
I think it's misleading. That's my opinion on that. That is truly misleading from the agent side. That you should not do that. You really shouldn't. So I just don't operate like that. I can't operate like that. So my suggestion is price it, do the right thing. You're representing the seller. Do the right thing for the seller. Trust me, if it was 435 and if you do have multiple offers, they'll be great. And people at a certain point will say, I'm not paying more than that. I don't really care.
That's true.
They're not going to pay more. So knowing your price is big. How do you know your price? Pictures don't mean much. I can tell you right now. If you're looking only at pictures, bad idea, because you don't know the elevations. You don't know if there's electrical powers in the back of you. You don't know if it's the first house, unless you're going to go and Google search it all the time. You don't know if it's the first house going to the subdivision. You don't know if it's dark inside in the house because the way the house is being faced. So I say to you, go preview homes. Go to new communities, you know, so you don't bother anybody. Go to vacant homes. I mean, you'll know when it's vacant. You don't bother you don't bother the other agents. Just go to vacant homes. Go see what the price at. So you'll have an idea what prices are. So you can be knowledgeable. If you need to go there, that you know the best thing, you know the entire area, you know how much the house is worth, and that is what the seller is expecting. They're expecting you to be experienced. If you don't show them that you are experienced, why should they work with you?
Right.
What's the reason? They can come to anybody else, right? That has experience, that understand it, that have gone it. Good question, though.
Thank you.
Okay, so on page 19, it talks about condition of the home. How buyers make decisions is the condition of the home. And I cannot even tell you that landscaping on the exterior is, from my experience, is huge. So make sure you attach yourself to a vendor that is a good landscaper, that if you are to list a home, or not necessarily, I'm not talking about somebody who just cut the grass. I'm talking about somebody who can go ahead and do nice landscaping, because first impressions means everything in the house. The house can be gold inside, but if it doesn't look nice on the outside, then forget it. I've been to numerous listings where the light bulbs on the outside are not operating. The door in the front door is dirty. I'm like, really? This is how you present yourself to your, right? To your sellers, to your buyers? That's not going to be. Does anybody has any other ideas in terms of condition of a home, what to suggest to the sellers? No. Okay. So I would say painting,
landscaper. How are they responding to that, the sellers?
I just think, you know, like I literally say it like this, said, if you went on your first date, if your wife now didn't look nice, yes, she was a lovely person. If she didn't look nice, would you go out with her again? That's it. That's all I got to say. I zip my mouth. Don't say anything. Right? You have to you have to touch people like the way you got to mirror them and see where they are in their life, right? And, sometimes I mirror it, not necessarily, I mirror it to personal, but not necessarily maybe to their relationship. It could be to their work, or could be whatever I know that they have an interest in, right? So if you have a puppy dog, and if you'd seen that puppy in the puppy store and he was all filthy, would you choose him, or would you choose the one that is all pretty with a bow? Right? You would go to the one with the bow, I promise you. It's the same thing with buyers. That's why I would, the first impression means everything. So lens, and you're not paying for that. You just, and really is, it's not expensive. So you go and put pine straw on it. I never take picture if the house is not ready on the outside. If you're not ready on the outside, I'll wait. No problem. And you can come up with any excuses that you have. I'll wait. Make the house look pretty on the outside. Now, if you're in a condo situation, there's nothing you can do. I can tell you that I went to one of my condos and I did an open house, and I personally painted the front, like months ago, personally painted the front door of the building because I was so over it, how disgusting it looked. I went and got the paint, and man, I painted it. Looks great. So this is just something that you're asking your clients. All those things needs to be done prior for you to going on the market. And that, I think I spend a lot of time getting it, preparing for that prior to going on the market. A lot, like bunch of time. Talking to the people, explaining to them and say, okay, and literally being their personal secretary, like, okay, did you finish landscaping? Did you do this? Did you paint everything? So we have it in such a way that we've got to prepare the clients to get it listed. I mean, there's a lot of tricks that you can do. That you can paint chandeliers to look antique style. You can paint those ugly brass light chandeliers that are from like 1970, and if you paint them, they look in white, it looks a lot nicer. So it's not costly, it's just a matter of ideas how to make it pretty so the next buyer will come in and buy the house. And how do you know what does look pretty? You go to those listings that look really nice and you see it with your own eye. What is in fashion now? What's in fashion?
So Shelley, I have a question. So in case I previewed a home a few weeks ago, and it was vacant because I'm not gonna go practice on people's homes during COVID. But anyways, it was vacant. It was an older home. It was clean, but at the same time, it needed everything done, and it was way overpriced. But like, what if your sellers are resistant or not able to pay, or they're elderly and they cannot do all that work? And there was, like, for example, in that home, there was a lot of work. As I said, while it was clean, it needed everything touched in the home.
Right.
So what do you do then?
Right. So I literally bring the clients. So if they are elderly and they don't have I have to show them that 3 doors down, that the reason why they got that price is because they had done, and I literally have to explain that to them. They did the painting on the wall, they did the floors, they did the bathroom, they did the lighting fixture, and all of it as a package gave them that price. If you are, yes, your house is clean and looks very nicely clean, but you did not do those updates, well, let them bring me an offer. It doesn't work like this. So I actually blame it on the agent to say, you did not price it correctly. And if they forced you to do that, you should have something in writing that you can reduce the price within the first week or 10 days. And sometimes you just, there's nothing you can do because those sellers are so stubborn and they think that it's worth $1 million, They cannot, I mean, we put an offer yesterday on a house that has been on the market for 2 years, 2 years on the market, okay? They wanted 685 3 weeks ago. They reduced it after 2 years to 665. We gave them an offer of 630. So what kind of an idiot seller is going to say no to that? And we didn't ask for anything, just give us the house. Do you know they didn't even come back with a counter offer? Not even with a counter offer. Can buy stupidity, that's what I call, can buy.
Yeah, thank you.
If you did the right thing, you're at least you understand, but you got to explain that to those sellers because, half of that, they really, because they think, oh my God, and then what the worst is that they go to Zillow, right? And Zillow says to them, right, my house is worth $700,000. Well, Zillow hasn't been in the house. They don't know that if somebody did nice flooring, they don't know the difference between if there is a tile or linen or some kind of a cheap material on the floor or in the bathrooms. They don't know that. So the mistake that Zillow is really not doing us a justice, but it surely doesn't tell us what the price is. So you will have all these different people, saying different things that, but Zillow, I cannot even tell you how many times I hear Zillow said that, and Zillow said that, and Zillow said that. I said, well, that's great. But does Zillow know that you put quartz countertops in your bathroom? No. Okay, that's it. Done. That conversation is done. That answer your question?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. So I am talking on page 21, talking about you. So even if you don't have an experience, you don't have to worry about that. You don't have to worry about writing reviews from you. You talk. The more they need to like you. That's all these sellers want that you're gonna like. They need to like you. You got to mirror them in order to like you. And again, I'm going back to the disc. I'm constantly going back to the disc because if you don't know what they are and you don't know, if you're going to approach somebody who is like an engineers, they just want like details. Everything is details. Somebody like me, yes, I want details, but you better be getting to the point and you telling me how much I can sell my house for and how long of a time you can sell it for. How long does it take you and what are you going to do? And you have to sum it up in 2 minutes. Otherwise, I'm going. That's it. That's me. So, and then you have my other me that you can stay with me for a cup of coffee for 2 hours. So that please know your client. All right, we ready for your video?
Okay. Let me share again. Okay. And after we do this, we're almost time for a break. So hang on, can everyone see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, great.
Hi, my name is Gene Rivers, and I'm here today to tell you how to develop your listing skills to a very high level. And after you've done that, you'll be able to go in and take over market share. Number one, the best source for listing leads is from your sphere and past client list. The fact is, the people you know the people that are going to be moving, whether it's at church, school, work, friends, relatives. Focus on making sure they understand you're in the listing business. Create a pre-listing package that you would give every seller, but rename it your guide to selling homes successfully in your market. And then give that to the people in your database that you know have influence as collateral materials that they can give to their friends and refer you. Step two, focus on an area, product, or price range. When you develop mastery of a product or an area, you will much more quickly succeed in those areas. And in that area or in that product or price range, focus on the FSBOs in that area, the expireds in that area, door knock in that area, geographic farm in that area. And I'm talking a fairly tight area so that the people in that area will really, really identify with you as someone who can help them sell property for top dollar with low hassle in a short amount of time. Now we're at number 3. Everyone today that's looking at hiring an agent, whether it's a referral, even a past client, or a stranger who's gotten your name somehow, they're going to check you out on the web. So you need to make sure that your website is competent, that you've got basic, powerful content in there, and specifically that on the landing page, at the very opening page, there is a direct offering to a seller. Find out what your home is worth, get a guide to selling your home. But if you don't do that, you're going to miss opportunities because people will get your name, check your website out and go, I don't think so. I've seen a lot better sites. Fix your website with a database that you are working on a consistent basis. And with a tight focus, you build your reputation. If you're visible, you will find you will take over more and more listings. And in a very short amount of time, 12 to 24 months, you will own that market. That's how you take market share.
Okay, so am I back? Yeah.
You're back. You got about 8
Yeah.
minutes to cover just the next few pages, and then we'll stop at page 27.
Okay, so we talked about having a listing appointment. I always text my clients or the people that I'm going to meet with the day before to confirm that I don't call, I text. Most of the people that you're going to deal with text, and they don't mind texting. So I text and I say, we are just making sure that we are on board. The CMA, sometimes I do have it in hard copy with me, but at the same time, I do send it in advance to them. So this way they can have it and they can look at it in advance. And the CMA that I'm sending also has pictures in it. It's with a link. So they can actually go ahead and look at it and understand what are the chances that they look at it. 50-50, I would say. Some people do, some people don't. And that's why when you come into the picture, when you telling them 123 Main Street sold 3 months ago, you just have to, you'll have it on a sheet of paper, but you'll remember how it looks and say, this is what it's look like, because they'll ask you how much do you think the house is worth based on what the upgrades they have in the home or not. I do have a listing agreement with me that I would say to you that in this market, you better have your listing agreement with you, because if you don't have it, whoever comes next will sign on it. A lot of times they'll say, well, we're interviewing another agent. So all of these objectives, we're interviewing, commission, all of these you have at the end of this. You have all these different objectives that I highly suggest for you to go ahead and learn the scripts in order for you to get a signature at the end of the day. Have I gone from listing appointment where they said to me, let us think about it, send it to us via email? The answer is yes, absolutely. I've gone with that. But you know what? I feel confident that they're going to sign with me. So it's, the best thing for us is to have it signed. If they refuse to, then you need to figure out how you're going to get back to them on a second appointment to get it signed. So that's a matter of a script. So the pages that they walk through on page 23 and 24 is walking through the house and through 27 and talking to them about the listing presentation. So really, I put the booklet on the table and I talk, just like I'm talking to you guys. I talk about the market. All I want to know at the end of the day, that you're going to do the best job. That's all they care about. But I do talk about what do we do. I do say we have and I say, here's my booklet. Here's all we do. Do you have any questions? And let them ask you the questions. because the more they talk, the better you are. Just remember, Ford, you're talking to them about their family, about their recreation, about their dreams, their friends. That's all they want from you. And then that you're going to sell them the house for highest price. So they need to make sure that you are assuring them that you will be doing the best job for them. Any questions?
All right. Well, you know what we do before we go on a break, don't you all? What do we do?
Take a picture.
Take a picture. And what does that mean?
Everybody smile.
You got it. Okay, so we'll finish up a few minutes early and then we'll come back. It is, as soon as I take the pictures, it is 2:26. We'll still come back at 2:45. Is that okay? And we all have to be on time, because if we're not, then you get
You'll miss
marked
the next
absent.
picture.
Okay, so here we go. I'm taking pictures. I love the smiles. Okay, Alan, give me one of those realtor smiles. I like the thumbs up. Okay, Cassandra, you got a great smile. So does Daniel. And here we go. Last page. Go have a lovely time for 15 minutes.
Hey, Shelly, are you sticking around?
Yeah, I'm sticking around. Go ahead.
So, have you ever been in a situation going on a buyer appointment and showing a property, and this is somebody you showed a property to a couple of times, and another agent pulls up claiming this to be their client? What you said? That happened to me today. I handled it pretty good, but I just wanted to see what you would do.
So the person that you showed them the help didn't had a buyer's agreement with you?
No, so we don't have anything signed. We're actually putting in an offer today, so we're gonna go ahead and get that signed. We're still in the process. Actually, the pre-approval is supposed to come in an hour or so, so we're gonna submit an offer.
You're submitting an offer now, and you're writing on the offer that you're gonna give them a pre-approved letter within 24 hours or within 5 hours. Why didn't that buyer? Well, the first question is, of course, you don't show property unless the buyer signed a contract, signed the buyer's agreement. But let's say you didn't do it. Just pretend, okay? So I don't show property unless the signed buyer's agreement. And really, I tell you what I use that works really good is that in the event they fall down in the house, okay, they break the leg, I don't look good in orange. You know what that means?
I guess legally they're supposed to sign something with you first.
No, you know what orange means? Orange means jail.
Yeah.
Okay. And what will happen is, and it really is true, because my insurance doesn't cover their insurance because it doesn't cover them if they fall down. And don't think that didn't happen in the past where people fell down. I mean, they slide on the stairs and they break the leg, and then they're going to look at you or at the seller and going to sign, and you're not protected because your E&Q insurance that you're paying to KW doesn't protect you.
Okay.
Do you see what I mean?
Yep.
So sometimes you get, I understand that sometimes you have a situation where the buyers are going to say, you know me from so-and-so, I don't need to sign on a buyer's agreement. I'm okay to show them the first house sometimes, maybe 5%. I will show them the first house, but after that, I bring with me the buyer's agreement in my hand when I go and show them the home. And I said, listen, this is just the protection of me. So I represent you. So what did you say to the other agent? That's interesting.
Yeah, so it was someone in his family or someone he knew that referred that agent, but he called me and my wife. She had a sign out for a property that he was interested in. So we showed him that property, and then we ended up showing him another one. And he came out. So I was just, I let him talk to him. And then once it was time for us to show the property, I walked him through it, and the other agent just waited outside. And then while we were showing it, he just told me like, hey, I don't want to work with that guy. I want to work with you. You guys are taking care of me. So I didn't really have to do much, but I wanted to see, because it's something I like too. So I wanted to see, of course, get the brokerage agreement signed first.
Don't wait to the pre-call letter. Send the offer now.
Okay.
Like now. Like hang up the phone with me and go send. Takes you 5 minutes to push the button. Push the button, send the offer to e-sign, to DocuSign, and send it to the other agent and add on it. Pre-qualification will be given by the end of business day today.
Will do.
By 7 p.m.
Will do. I'm going to get on that now.
Okay, bye.
Thank you. Bye.
You're welcome. Bye.
Shelley? Can I ask you a question? Do you mind?
Yes, sorry, go ahead.
So for new agents, as far as pre-listing and listing and buyer's preparation, so where do you suggest or that we get, I mean, I know we can get templates, but like if you wanted to get a nice folders or cards or things like that to have on hand so that when we have clients, we are prepared, where do you suggest we order those
You
kind
mean
of
the
things?
business cards?
No, like just like even a greeting cards that we write to the
So I think I ordered it on, I put like my name on it from, I think it was from MLMS I ordered.
Okay.
I'm 99% sure. If not, you can order it. There's bunch of companies. There's Vista. You can order from Vista. There's probably, it's a big company.
Yeah. Okay.
There is also Remind Me Media does it also.
Okay.
So these are just, yeah. It doesn't have to be extravagant. Just have to have your name on it. That's all.
Yeah.
Shelley
Yeah.
or Sandra,
yes.
our Dofi, the director of first impressions, the receptionist at the front, keeps folder covers that can be, and then cards. So check with them first.
Okay, thank you.
Take it easy.
Because you can just use a plain KW card also.
Yeah. I'm just thinking I'd like to have something prepared so that when the time comes, I'm not scrambling and the better organized I am, the easier will be when.
Just go to your market.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, it is 2:45. So I'm going to scroll through. It looks like we're still missing some people. So I'm going to talk slowly for about 1 minute, and then we're going to start taking pictures. So I hope that these individuals will get on. While we're waiting for them, and then I'll take the pictures, is Shelley's getting ready to go over the guide to selling your home. It is, I want to remind you that you want to go through and customize it, because you're going to put, if you're looking on page 27, it says prepared for, and you put your client's name. So if you don't customize it and you send it out, it says prepared for client name 1. That doesn't look so good. And then you compliments of your name. So anyway, just FYI, and Shelley will go through this next, probably 40 pages, close to it, fairly quickly, because it's really meant as a guide and you have access to it to prepare. So that way we finish at 4 o'clock. All right, it looks like I've got everybody but one, and I'm just trying to hang on. So I'm going to start backwards. I'm going to try to be nice here. So give us your biggest smiles, and I'm taking pictures now. Looking good. Looking good. Looking fantastic. And looking good. Okay, thank you, Shelley. It's all yours.
Okay, so am I starting on that 69? Is that where I'm at?
No, I mean, you're going to still go over, you'll pick up on 28, but the nice thing is the pages are going to be what they're going to see when they print it out. There are things that you want to talk about on page 28 in preparing before the appointment, and things that you all can talk. Okay.
Okay, so I think preparation is huge, and I'm on page 28 right now. And just make sure that you have everything in order. And I had a minute ago, I had a really good question from somebody asking me, so where do I get the folders and so on? So your market center should have these KW folders, and all you have to do is just stick the stuff inside. That's all you need to do, with your business card, of course, attached to it. So easy, cannot be easy. So make sure you have your listing agreement. Make sure if you are bringing anything else with you, that you have it ready to go, and you know what's in the folder, and you know how to address it once you start to talk about it. Appointments we covered. Do call them in advance, or not call them, text them, and just confirm that appointment. That you're not going to show up and they're just going to say, "Oh, we forgot we have an appointment with you." So that's regarding the appointment. On page 29, they talk about discussing, when you are at the appointment, you got to make sure that you know what your motivation is, right? That you understand, that the seller understand what's your motivation, that seller understand who you are and how you're going to sell their home. And sometimes making it as simple as possible and not making it too convoluted, sometimes giving them too much information, I can tell you it doesn't work well. Because not everybody, we know the material, but people that are not in the business, if you go into a lot of details, they may be too overwhelmed with that, even with the ones that like a lot of description. And that is the reason why you're leaving them with something, so they will understand what are you going to do for them. So just remember what your goal is there. What are you going there for? Okay. On page 30, that is beyond huge. In today's market, figuring out what is the priority and figuring out where they are. It's not about the house that they're going to buy, it's where they're going next. And that is what I've seen the past 2 months, is that sellers say to me, well, even if I sell it, where I'm going to go to, because I have no idea what I'm going to go to, So it's understanding what the sellers' needs are is huge. And that is why you are asking the questions. And literally, if they say to you, it's one thing also, remember mirror, right? We learned it in bold. So if they are saying to you, we want to move in 3 weeks, you literally repeating it like a parrot. I say, okay, so you want to move in 3 weeks, right? Yes. So in 3 weeks, do you see yourself in a smaller home, or maybe you should go to a rental property for a short rental property until you figure out where your house is going to be? So get prepared that ahead of time to what their needs are going to be. Sometimes you don't know all the answers, but sometimes you can just figure out they're obviously moving. They're obviously going to go somewhere unless they're moving out of state. And if they are moving in state, you better know where you will have some suggestion to where they're going to move to. And that's what they are looking at you to figure out, to help them out. Does anybody has any questions in terms of asking questions?
Shelley, I have a question. We were talking that we are basically in a seller's market right now. So suppose you get someone who is a seller, but also who wants, of course, to buy, because they got to move somewhere. But if it's a seller's market, do you run into the situation where the house sells quicker than they're able to find a home? And what do you do in that case?
Right. So I have it on my listing agreement that, so I do a few things. I tell the sellers that we'll make the deal in such a way that you, Mr. Seller, will be able to rent back from the buyer. And most of the buyers these days don't mind waiting. Okay, so renting back for 2-3 months, that's great. You know, so I give the solution up front. So this way they're not going to be, because they're already stressed out from getting ready for the sale of the home. So I just say, okay, so let me tell you how it can play. Number one, it can play that you're going to rent back from your buyers. Number two is if you don't feel comfortable with that, then we're going to have it contingent, and I write it in the contract, contingent upon them finding another home. Now, have I put it a lot in the contract? The answer is no, because I really make it in such a way that it will they can rent back from the other buyer. And that is what, when the agent's asking me, what's our dream list in order to get out of the house? That's what I say. I say, we need to rent it back from you guys. Otherwise, don't even come to me with an offer.
Shelley, though, when you do that contingency offer upon finding another home, is there a time limit that you put on that?
Yeah, I mean, I can say 3 months, 4 months, 5 months.
No, stop.
What?
If they're getting financing, max is 60 days.
That's right, in 60 days.
Yeah.
No, but she's talking about, what she's saying is that if we have a contract and we can close 4 or 5 months from now, you know what I mean? Then basically, you know, you see what I mean? We're not closing now. We're closing once the buyer finds a place, once this seller finds a place, but we give a time limit on that. So the seller will have 4 months to go find a place. On or before that, we'll let you know, Mr. Buyer, when the seller is ready to move.
Okay.
So Shelley, in that case, what Michelle said, you know, the interest rates are locked on certain period. The buyer has to agree whatever happens in that 4 or 5 months. That can be a risk, right?
Right. But if you want the house so bad, sorry to place. I mean, the interest rates are not going to go half a point or a point, and that's why you need a strong buyer. You cannot have a buyer that is only putting 5% down. You need a buyer that understands that they're not moving out of the house so fast.
So Shelley, I just got a contract the day before yesterday on what you just said, rent back.
Yeah.
I said rent back is $100 per day, and it will be for only 15 days. At the end of the 15 days, you have to get out. So they agreed to that. So
excellent. Yeah, that's all. Right, and you put in the temporary exhibit, right?
Yes, exactly. Yes.
Yeah, that's how it needs to work. I mean, you cannot rent back more than 60 days per lenders. Yeah. So, right. So that's where, you know, when you're talking about all about the seller, it is all about the seller, because we are in a seller's market, and the seller can dictate a lot of stuff for us, you know, what they want, as long as it's within the law and as long as it makes sense. So what you did is absolutely correct. So moving to page 32 and talking about delivery 10+ experience. This is where you're talking about, are you connecting with them, your marketing value? What are you bringing to the table that they need to choose you and not choose somebody else? And just, I don't take a piece of paper and I read it. I just talk. That's all I do, because I know what's in it. And for them, whatever you bring on the table, it's just for them for later is to say, aha, I remember she said that. Oh yeah, I remember she said that. So that's what they need to know, that you are important to them and you are going to take care of those sellers. And they're not just going to be one of a million of other clients of yours. That you're going to talk to them twice a week. Sometimes, you know, you talk to them every day, and you're going to pick up the phone and you're going to text them. It's just not just sending them emails. to my opinion. I mean, that's how I operate. I talk to my clients because I feel that the conversation, now, some people don't like to talk. Some people say, just text me. Okay, but you're going to learn pretty fast what's the best communication to deal with your seller, right? So you need to ask them, what's the best way? And sometimes you have a husband and wife. So who do you contact? Or sometimes you have a divorce situation like I have now, and good luck with that. Because you got to talk to both of them. So so that's regarding delivery at 10 plus, and having them understand that they are, why Keller Williams? Keller Williams, because we talk the same language. We are, all of our agents, me and all my agents are all experienced. We are well educated. We know what are we doing. We have a phenomenal support system. We have an attorneys that if we have to go and talk to them in a minute, we can just walk into the attorney's office and ask questions. And that's important to some sellers, that they need to know that legally they're being covered at any time. That makes sense. Do you guys know that you can go to your attorney in your office, right? Correct? I would assume you guys know that. And you have people like Michelle that you can go by there and ask them about special steps. Where do I put it?
If you're at this office.
All right. So page 35, obviously KW is worldwide, and I think most of the people know that. I can tell you that I'm back again to statistics. So I'm a statistics person, where on our chart master, you will see that we are taking a big portion of the market compared to other companies. And if you have that, I mean, it's great. Or I think there is one map that shows that we are all over the world. I think it's on command even, that we all around the world. And that should be part of your presentation, that this way they'll see you're not just a little bitty, whatever it is, like Realty First or some stupid companies that are like have one office. And you know that you are part of a big company and you have a big support system, and people like that. People really do like that. Any questions? Nope. Okay. How many of you listened to Gary Keller talk on, I don't know, was it Family Reunion was available to everybody or no, Michelle?
No, they would have had to have signed up for.
Oh, they have to.
If you go to KW Connect to the video portion, you'll get snippets of Gary Keller speaking, and he's
phenomenal.
worth your time.
Yeah. So how many of you listened to Gary Keller talk? Anyone? For this past this past few months? No?
Yes.
One? How many people we have on this call? 37. How many people listen to Gary Keller?
I just haven't watched the show. I'm just reading The Millionaire Agent right now.
Yeah, but the show is phenomenal. And the reason I'm going for that, we're talking about technology on the next page. I think there's a lot of information. My suggestion for you is go listen to it, spend an hour, put it in your car, spend an hour and listen to it. I think it will give you a lot of insight, who we are, what we are, where we're going with technology. And that is something that you can reiterate to your clients. So, yeah. So moving on to the next page, which I'm on 38, when it talks about what are you going to get from me, what the expectation is, it really is, what is the expectation in the next few pages, talking about expectation from you. So what are you offering them? Are you offering them marketing? And again, it's based to the same presentation that they need to hear it from you, why to choose you and not to choose somebody else. Okay, and what are you bringing to the table? So if you feel that you are number one, you are phenomenal in communicating, or you are on all over social media, or whatever your niche is, like, you know, that specific neighborhood because you were born there, and just things that you can think of why to connect with you and not to connect with somebody else. I can tell you that I list a lot of stuff in Walton High School, and I see these agents that come in and have zero idea about the neighborhoods in our neighborhoods. They come from the other part of town, and they're not doing their homework. They should be calling me and asking me questions in order to find out about the area, and they're not. But all I can say to you, know your, like Gene Rivers, we were talking before, know the area that you are working with. Understand that even if it's a listing that is on the other side of town that you know, you can learn about it. I promise you, you can learn. Drive there, figure out where Publix is, figure out where Walmart is. That doesn't take a genius to figure that out, you know. But they need to know what they're getting for you. Why they're paying you all that money? Why should they pay you? I mean, at the end of the day, it is a lot of money. So what is the value that you're bringing? And that is something that you're the one who knows that. I mean, I cannot tell you, or just, you know why you're there. I think reassuring the client over and over again that they are in good hands, and asking them questions. Is there anything that that is concern for you? Because the more questions you are, the better you will be. Any questions for me? Nope. Okay. I'm moving to page 42. It talks about if they have any questions about the pre-listing package. Again, I can tell you that majority of them didn't probably read it, but that's okay. They got it on the table and they know that you send it to them. And if they did, it's great, because if they have any questions, then they can, they can ask you right then and there. So they may say, I get a lot of questions about open houses because people are really worried with COVID time, how it's going to play. And I can tell you that that's a conversation to be held, definitely, because we want open houses, right? So, Crystal, let's do a script call right now, okay? And I am the seller, and I'm heading to list my house with you in the next week, okay? And I don't understand open houses. Completely have no idea. I'm like, I don't understand why open houses. Okay, so you're gonna be the seller. You're gonna be the seller. I'm gonna be the listing agent. Okay, do it the other way around. Okay, and I'm in front of you, and I'm saying, okay, I'm discussing with you open houses because that's part of my marketing, right? Because I'm bringing these to the table. So let's do that. Michelle, can we talk?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So Crystal, I'm so excited for you. We can start next week on marketing your home. And I'm gonna tell you that the first Sunday when the house is gonna hit the market on Thursday, so excited for you. And the first Sunday, we always do an open house, and I personally will be there. So I'll explain to you a little bit about the open house, and then you can ask me a question. So the timing of the open house will be, we advertise it starting right when we put the listing. It's going to be on Sunday from 2 to 5. I will have gloves in the front. I have booties in the front. I'll have anybody walks in, has to walk in with a mask. So there's not going to be 100 people coming into the home. We're going to control how many people coming in and how many people coming out. So does that sound okay for you?
It sounds good. Why do you wait from Thursday till Sunday to do the open house?
Right. So that's a really good question. So notice how I am going back on your question, right? Because you asked me a question and I'm answering to the question that you didn't answer the question. I'm just reassuring you, right? So the reason why we do an open house, because most of the people have off on Sundays. So we really cannot do, sometimes we do Saturdays, but really we, through our experience, we see that most of the people do come in from Sunday from 2 to 5.
Okay.
That makes sense?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Any other questions?
What do I need to do to get ready for the open house?
For the house, okay. So I will send you like a piece of paper, what you have to do to create that. But overall really is just to make sure that all the lights are on. Just imagine it's Christmas and every light in the house is on and no dishes in it's the same kind of procedure that we done going to when we did photography, where we had everything was nicely put away. Just remember that, and we talked about it before, that any kind of valuables, you are either shifted out, put it out of the house, or you hide it really good in the house. So, you know, we'll do advertising. We have over 200 websites. We advertise it, also including social media. So we hope that, you know, our purpose of this open house is to get you a buyer that will come in to the open house.
Okay. And how much time will you be here before the open house starts?
Probably about 15 minutes before.
15 minutes before?
I'll get there at 1:45 and I'm going to leave at 5, like a little bit after 5. So I'm going to explain to you the reason why we do open house, because there are buyers that are coming in that just their realtor cannot come with them, and they know that they can just come into the house, and this way we get everybody in one time, and you will not drive you crazy afterwards. And because their realtor, their buyer's agent cannot make it, we make it more accessible for everybody to come and see it. Okay. And then we of course have the buyers that not being represented by an agent, and they would like to come and see it too. Okay. And then the third kind of a buyer, we're probably going to have the buyer that is the neighbor that we usually get them up pretty much. Now, the neighbors could be a good thing. Sometimes they can bring their own friends into the neighborhood. But on the other hand, they could be like one of those neighbors that just want to see what upgrades that you have done to the house. And I can reassure you, those neighbors, we're going to basically scoot them out of the house pretty fast.
Okay.
So I think it's going to be a really good presentation for your house. And we work very hard. We prepare a lot to get to open house. There's going to be a lot of sign. But don't forget, the purpose is at the end of the day to get you the highest price for the house in less amount of time. Is that something that you would like, right?
Yeah, that sounds great. Do I need to be there?
No, you absolutely don't. We don't want you there. We want you go to the park.
Okay.
Go shop. All right. So was that okay? Did you understand what I did? So that is really what needs to happen. And that is reassuring them. And again, you having a conversation with the seller and reassuring them that they are in good hands. Then you know what you're doing, right? So I'm on page 43. We talked about offers and negotiation, talk about multiple offers. And that is something I can tell you guys that you really need to address with your sellers. What's going to happen if you have a multiple offers? How is it going to play? I don't think I'm going in super details in that, but I'm going in details to say to them, not necessarily the most money will bring you the best offer. Because offer consists of not only dollar amount attached to it, consists of what else is in the offer. How many days inspection? How many days you have? How many days you're going to have financial? How many days you're going to have appraisal contingency? If you're going to have appraisal contingency, and I can tell you, if you want to set yourself apart, you need to understand those terms and understand the contract. So you will know, and the contract of 2021 changed this year. again. So you really do understand, because they'll ask you, what are we going to do if we have multiple offer situation? And just saying to them, just brushing them up and say, oh, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. It doesn't really work in this world. You know, you got to say to them, these are the following steps that I'm going to do. And what are you going to do? Right? How are you going to present the multiple offer situation? I mean, I do Excel sheets because I love Excel sheets, but I can tell you that you have to have a plan in hand. God willing, you'll have multiple offer. And that's the goal. They need to hear it from you. They're going to get multiple offer, and very much likely they'll get more than the price that they have, that they wanted to sell it for.
So Shelley, what's your take on today's market among the three, appraisal contingency and financials and due diligence?
So I can tell you that all my buyers coming to the table, I'm making sure that they don't have financial contingency. Nobody. I don't even care what price point. I don't care even if it's up to $1 million. I don't want any financial contingency. I want to make sure you are approved. Now, it cannot happen on everybody, unfortunately, but on a lot of them, they're okay with no financial contingency. And sometimes no appraisal. You know, it depends how much they want the house. And I don't do, if you are in a multiple offer situation, you should not have due diligence. You should have repair and replace. Do you guys know what repair and replace is? Does anybody know here? I can see some people are nodding their hand. They don't know. Sandra, you don't know? Yeah.
Shelley, before we get there, if you take out the appraisal contingency, and if you do an appraisal, and then, this is for getting the funding, for the financing. And if you do the appraisal, let's say it comes to 380, you got the house at 450. And then there is a big problem, right?
Right. And that's where you come in with your expertise. Because you got to make sure.
Yeah, the question is, some of this, I have experience with a few now on this lending side. Some of the lenders have significantly lower appraisal value compared to others. What is that? Can you explain that? It's the same property.
I don't know. Well, if you are the buyer's agent or you are the seller agent?
Buyer's agent.
You are the buyer's agent, right?
Right. Yes.
So meaning the house is sold for 450, is selling, you are under contract for 450 and it came at 380?
Yeah, so the question is, we do the comps, right? The previous 2 or 3 houses sold for, let's say, 440.
Right. Right.
And then you got an offer which is like 440 or 450.
Right. I mean, you have to, that's the offer.
Then you do the price.
Right. So I always say, So I always ask the listing agents, could you please share with me your comps? So I can present it to my buyers. My buyers would love that house, but could you please share it with me?
And Shelley, let me pop in, Bala. Since we're talking about listings today, we'll focus on just the listing side. But for anybody, I was in mortgage lending for 29 years, and I can easily answer that question.
Yeah. So, but from listing perspective, you just have to be prepared that if you're going to be asked a question where your comps came from, have your comps ready. Be ready for, so if you price that house, make sure you tell that seller, I know that your house is worth $450, because they can ask you the same question, and you're right about that. They say, well, how did you arrive for that, Shelley, if the house next door sold 3 months ago? Well, I'm going to say, well, that was 3 months ago. Now it's March, and this is what it's worth for. And I believe that this is what it's worth for, right? And I'm going to show you, Mr. Seller, that forget your neighbors 3-4 downs, but in the same middle school or high school district, there are 3 homes that look exactly like you and sold this past month for $450. And that's how I derived to that price. Okay.
That's exactly
And
what
I'm
I
gonna-
wanted.
Right. And I'm going to have that, Mr. Seller, ready that in the event I'm going to be asked that, I have it ready to roll. So they need to know preparation. You know the market. You know that you're going to be asking those questions. You know that you're in control. You know how to deal with multiple offers. Yeah? Okay. I'm on page 45 and I'm heading to smooth closing. So obviously, I highly suggest for you, if you don't have it or after a few transactions, get yourself a closing coordinator. They will take care of the paperwork. I dislike paperwork, so that's what I have in place. But if you're doing all the paperwork, reassure the clients that you are taking care of all the closing aspects. And once all these contingencies are off the table, they don't have to, they're pretty much not going to hear from you. I mean, you can talk to them, but it's being handled by attorneys and they are in great hands and you are preparing for a smooth closing. So they need to hear that from you, that they are being taken care of and moving on to a smooth closing. The next thing is talking about,
Shelley?
Yeah, any questions?
Can you tell us about that repair and replace that? I have no idea what it is.
So if you get
Thank
it as a listing agent, you need to, there's a difference between due diligence. If you go under DocuSign and type in under Old Georgia Forms, repair and replace, read it. And then if you have any questions, go call your market center, whoever's in charge of the contract, ask them the questions because they will answer you. I promise you. Yeah. And you do need to know that because that's a good thing to talk to the sellers. Good thing to talk to the sellers about. So really is when I'm going to page 47, talking about 3 factors to get your home sold is obviously pricing the house right, marketing your home, having the house in a good condition, and I believe that realtors sells homes to other realtors. I'm a really true believer in that. And that is part of my presentation when I say to agent, not only that the media is selling it, FMLS is selling it, I'm selling, and you counting on my mouth, me calling 1,000 agents and talking to agents all day long. So does any one of you know what a reverse prospecting is? Please tell me you do. Please. Nobody?
I think they're too new yet to have gotten to that point.
To reverse prospecting. Okay. So if there is if you have a listing in the data and you are, once you put the listing on, you can see, I would assume that all of you have buyers and you created a save, an auto email to your clients. Is that correct? Have you all done that? Safe search on FMLS? No?
Yes. I have clients on auto email.
Yes. On auto email. Okay. Yes. So when you are creating that auto email and I have a house that fits your needs, I get your name as a listing agent. I get your information. So I know that you are part of it. So you have a client for that. So if I have a listing with an issue that I cannot sell, I pick up the phone and start calling all those agents. And this is what we call reverse prospecting, that I am calling other agents and talking to other agents about your home. So the seller needs to know that you're bringing value. That's a great value to bring to the table. That you are the professional one, that you are talking to other people. It's not, agents sell homes and they really do sell homes. It's not only that the buyers are there to see that, because a lot of times the buyer miss out on homes just because. You cannot just go put the buyers on auto email and expect from them to find a home. That doesn't really happen. So I always say, call the other agents, talk to the agents in your office. Every office has 200, 300 agents. Talk to them. Put on Facebook on your office. Hey, I have a new house to sell. Do you have any buyers? So make sure that your seller understands that you are in front. Your office is 300 people in the office. That's a huge amount of agents to communicate between you if you wanted to on a daily basis. Any questions? Okay. On page 49 and 50, basically talks about the condition of the home, which we had talked about it before. I think it's obviously important that that's part of staging of the home and making sure that the house is clean, organized, get rid of all the stuff that don't need. And don't be afraid to tell it to your sellers, because if the house doesn't look clean, if there's garbage can in the house, a garbage can in the bathrooms, that doesn't go well. I can tell you right now, it doesn't look good. So don't be afraid to tell these sellers, just until we sell the home, would you mind just putting the garbage can under that sink? This way it doesn't, people don't really like that to see the garbage can. So don't be afraid to tell them that. 51 and 52, again, talk about our marketing your home. And I think that is something that you will see it on any of those guides that you're downloading. That's going to be preset for you. 53 talks about the exposure that you have. I mean, there's actually a diagram that shows all the websites that Keller Williams is connected to. I think there's about 200 of them. And I like that because it shows like every website that you can think of. And that's going to be part, if you go to command, you'll see it there. On 54, we're talking about a price. The next subject is the price and price to sell. And really is back again, reassuring the buyers that you know your comps, reassuring them that you know what comparable marketing is. Sometimes it's more than just talk. Sometimes you have to sit and explain that to them. And I can tell you, I've done Zoom. I can tell you most of my listing now, I really talk on the phone and do some Zoom calls. And I literally share my screen with them and I explain to them, this is why your house is worth this. And this is what you need to understand why this house sold for $550 and they had done 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and your house, you just don't have it. There's nothing wrong with your house, but you just don't have it. And people are willing to pay. But explain to them, they don't understand because the wall is gray and their wall is yellow. The gray wall is going to get probably $10,000 more because people cannot visualize that. You have to explain that. If you don't explain that, they don't get it. I promise you. So talking about explaining and talking about figuring out prices wise, I can tell you that most of my friends know that when they call me or my clients, they know if they call me, I'm either in Publix, if during the week, or in Home Depot. And most likely you'll find me in Home Depot. So I go a lot to Home Depot, like a lot to Home Depot. So I know prices. If you ask me, how much does it cost to install carpet? How much does it cost to install, hardwood floors? What kind of hardwood floors there are available these days? I don't just go and tell them, oh, you need to go to Home Depot. I know what there is on the market. Trust me, I know. I do my homework in advance. If they ask me how much does it cost a new faucet and they think it's going to cost $500, no, you can get a faucet for $69. I promise you, that looks like really nice. So the question, just be knowledgeable, because knowledge, if you showing knowledge, that's power. That's all I'm saying to you. And the sellers need to know, they need to feel comfortable with you. You can come up with the base, nicest brochures and you don't know shit, excuse my language. That doesn't really, sorry, we're being recorded, I forgot. Okay, and you don't know, and you don't know like your basic, I mean, if you don't know how much a faucet costs or how much a toilet costs, how much is a toilet, like the back of the toilet, the little gizmo in the back, how much does that cost? Does anybody know? Flip on it, whatever they call it. Yeah.
$100.
$25.
Huh?
100.
Like $39.
I was gonna say $30, yeah.
The flapper, you know, the flapper, you know? So, because this is also helps you when you get an inspection report and the seller looks at you, it's gonna cost me $2,000 to repair. And you're saying, no, it's not. It's gonna cost you $200 to repair that. That's not a big deal. Just because it's a big list, it doesn't mean that much. So again, know your stuff, because comparable, all of that comes out to knowledge and knowing you can have, when you do comps, you can have two homes identical. One house can be 500. The same identical home will be 550 or 575 or 600. So that's all I'm saying to you is that that would be my highly recommendation to you when you go on a listing appointment. And actually it's fun. I mean, I find it fun. I like to go to Home Depot. I mean, I like a lot. And the people in Home Depot, they know me in the aisle. They'll say, hey, Shelly, and I sit there and talk to them. You know, what do you think about this product? What do you think? If you go during the week to Home Depot at 8 o'clock in the nighttime, I mean, it may sound crazy, but you know, I go there at 8:30. These people are just standing there in the aisle. They're not, some of them are really, they don't mind talking to you. They don't mind being friends with you. So basically is have the knowledge so you'll know where you are. I'm moving fast forward to page 60. There's going to be a lot of questions that are asking you these days about COVID, which you know by now how to answer, about accessibility of other agents into the house, which you know how to answer that, because most of the people don't understand that our lockbox have a data that is being controlled, that it shows you who walks in and who walks out and their name and their phone number. So that's one thing that we as agents just assume that everybody knows, but I can tell you most of the people that haven't sold their house for 15, 20 years or haven't sold their house for 3 years, they don't understand that. So my suggestion is do explain to them. Listing agreement. Make sure you know your listing agreement. So if you have to, you need to go ahead and explain that, because you will be explaining it at the table. So that is where I don't focus on this marketing a lot, because I already given them that nice brochure that they can go look at it all day long. I talk about where they want to go to. Let's talk about the price. Sometimes I don't even talk about the price, because the price is just a minor thing. Where you want to go to. They need to know where, they want to know where they're going to go to. That is now number one on the list. Listing agreement, as long as you know a listing agreement by heart, and you should know it by heart. I mean, there are some pages that I just go and say, okay, this is all about marketing. We cover that. Or if we didn't cover it, it's right there in that catalog. This is the important part that you need to know. The first page is the most important part that you need to know. I cover the price, I cover the commission, then I go to seller property disclosure. And if you write anything on special steps, go ahead and talk about it, period. That's it. And have them sign on it. If they're not sure that they want to sign on it, I say, you know what, just sign on it. If you decide not to use me, I'm perfectly fine. I'll just tear that agreement. How does that sound? I mean, most of the people will sign on it if they like to. Again, it's all a matter of you show them that you are knowledgeable, you listen to them, and they need to have a connection with you so they can trust you that you're gonna sell the most valuable thing that they have in their life, which is their house, to most people. And that's the part that sometimes we forget, you know? Because we are doing transactions and we don't understand that when they're buying or when they're selling, this is a lifetime, that's a big deal for them, a very big deal for them. So just remember that. Any questions? Questions? Nope. Okay, so I do want to talk to you about seller property disclosure. I'm going to say to you is absolutely do not fill in seller property disclosure for your sellers. I don't care how old they are. Have a family member fill it in. I had a situation today where a seller of an expensive home said to me, I told you not to put the refrigerator. We got an offer. We signed on the offer. We're going through a seller. She started to talk to me about the offer that we already did inspection. And she is saying to me, well, I told you not to put the refrigerator in and the washer and dryer. I said, excuse me, I did not fill in the seller property disclosure. You're the one that filled it in. And not only did you fill it in, you signed on it. You know, I said it in a nice way, but I'm just going to say to you is that I've learned a long time ago, seller property disclosure, community association disclosure, do not sign, do not fill it in, don't sign on it. Let them print it and let them, you're going to go and drive it to them and pick it up, but absolutely do not fill it in for them. I don't care in what situation there is. Because otherwise you will be buying a fridge or you will be buying something else if you filled it in. Not a good idea. And I think that's it. I want to hear if there is a moving checklist here, which is pretty good. I saw it today. I actually thought I liked that. That's a good idea. I probably will use it in my list. I'm going to actually input it also because I thought that was a pretty good thing. And that's it. Michelle, do I move on?
I'll take over and
Okay.
we'll finish it up. We've got, we run till 4 o'clock, but
Okay.
That's great because we're going to go over what we need to be doing before the next class as well. But I think Shelley gave you an idea of the process of handling a listing. And one of the points that she made that I want to emphasize is that you need to ask questions. They will ask questions, but if you've got a script that continues to ask them questions, they're the ones that are talking, and they will feel like you have really tailored the presentation around them. Because if you don't know what they want, you would just be talking. Have you ever gone into a store and somebody just talked and talked and you just wanted to get away from them? Yeah, so let's just quickly go over, what would be a question you might ask the seller? Anything, just ask me or just ask that question.
How did you come up with the price?
Oh, so if they've set the price, and that's good because Shelley, I don't know if you do it, I would suspect you do, but when I was selling and I was listing, I would say, share with me a price that you're expecting, because I wanted to know what I was up against. And I did have sellers that had a total weren't realistic. And so now I need to know how to adjust to that.
I'm sorry to interrupt. So that is part of the pre-listing questionnaire.
Yeah, exactly.
What price? Right. So we already prepared going to the listing appointment. Sometimes we are and sometimes we're not. But yeah, but that when
assuming they did it. But
assuming
if they didn't, Bella, you're going to ask that question.
You got
else? Somebody else ask a question.
Hey, Shelley.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Michelle.
Yeah.
So we got our price set. So
Mhm.
what's our competition? So what are we up against in the market?
Well, Mike, what I did is I reviewed a statistical data before I came here. And what I'm going to tell you is based in your neighborhood, the average days on market is about 3 days. There's no seller contributions really taking place. They're getting about 101% of value, assuming that it's priced right. And we've had very little, if any, failed listings. So I've taken a look at that. And what I would tell you is that you need to have the house ready to go. We need to price it fairly and have all your documents ready, your seller disclosure, had to stop and think, community association disclosure. Really, as long as we're prepared, we're good to go.
Okay, great. Thanks.
What's another question you would ask?
Michelle, where do you find that statistical data?
I'm going to answer this question, and I'm making an assumption for the other market centers. We house that information called Chart Masters in our intranet. So if you go into mykw.kw, there is an intranet, and that's what's particular to your market center. If you do not see it, or just simply ask your market center where it's housed, every agent with the Rawls Group has that ability to access Chart Masters. Now I'm a data geek, so I'm going to say that. But as a new agent, I depended on that. And as a seasoned agent, I would still depend on that. But as a new agent, it lets you share what the market is. And when I went on a listing appointment, it was my very first one where I was asked to come into a listing. I thought, oh no, okay, I hope. So I did my work on Chart Masters and I learned what was happening on the market. So I began to share with them. I asked them questions, what was important, but I said, let me share with you what the market looks like at this time. And so I've spent maybe 5 minutes. I don't want to do all the talking by any means, but I've spent about 5 minutes. And the seller said, just stop. And I thought, oh no, they know I'm a brand new agent that hasn't sold but one house. And they said, gosh, you are so informed about the market. We were going to interview other agents, but we're going with you. So now they never asked me how long I'd been doing that, which was a couple of weeks. And they never asked what my statistics were. So that Chart Masters, the point of that is Chart Masters gives you a lot of confidence because you can be very specific, and it comes out monthly and it comes out quarterly. The monthly gives you a snapshot of what happened last month. The quarterly lets you see what's happening at this time. And so in March, at the end of March, by about April 10th, this will come out and you will see what happened in January, February, March. You can also put in there are slides, there are places where you can go in and put the area. So East Cobb is area 81, 82, or 83. So if I want to know what's happening in area 83, which is Walton High School, I'm going to put in area 83 and it's going to start to look at just that area. How many of you see marketing information or data information, let's just say on the news? How many of you? You know how big Atlanta is? Do you know how many counties are in the metropolitan area that we look at?
28.
Yep, that's right. That's right. So is the same thing happening in Loganville as it is in Alpharetta? No. So that's why you can go into Chart Masters and put that data and start to be more of an expert on that. So just simply ask your market center where it's housed. How many of you, what we didn't touch on, because it doesn't touch on that in there, but have seen, how many of you have looked at the contracts? Just raise your hand. Know the contracts. All right. If you don't, you won't be alone. There is in the contracts a table of contents. And the table of contents is going to tell you every contract in the GAR that's in GAR, or that's a GAR contract, I should say, so that you know what are buyers and what are sellers. Now, it doesn't say that, but I want you to go through and I want you to say, if it says exclusive listing agreement, would that be a buyer or a seller? This is an easy question.
That's going to be seller.
That's right. So when here at this market center, when I do something, I give to my new agents. So new agents, listen up. There's a sheet where I've marked it where it says B for buyer next to the contract, or S for seller, or if it's both, what will it say? BS. Okay, that's just the it get you to pay attention. But if you need that, I will get that out to you. It's very, very helpful. But the reason I went into that is there is a form in there that if you're doing a listing, you need to be aware of it and learn how to use it. It's called net to seller. And so what do you think the net to seller would be?
So after all the expenses, right?
That's right. That's right. So I teach a class and it's called Net to Seller. And so what it does is it tells you when you meet with the owner, what they're going to expect to net out of the house. Do you think that that might be important?
It is important. Is it legal in Georgia?
Is it legal?
Yeah, somebody is asking me the same. What do you think our net to seller will be? For what we can guarantee before.
No, we're talking about net to seller, not net to seller, not rent to seller. Yeah. Net to seller is going to show them what they expect to get out of it, and it takes a little bit of knowledge. So I want you all to write that down, and I want you to have your market center teach you how to do a net to seller, because if you can't tell the seller how much they're going to net, do they think that you are particularly professional? No. And what if they're buying another house and they really need to know what they're going to net out of that to make it work on the next transaction? Is that important? Yeah, it is. So the net to seller, I actually do a class, and I'm happy to share with you. I'll post it on the chat box before we close out what I teach. And you really need to ask somebody to explain it to you. But there's a form, and it's form F837. And that is what they call the net to seller. And so familiarize yourself with it. I had an advantage because I was in mortgage banking for so many years. So I get it, because you're going to have to look at a mortgage statement, and you're going to have to be able to read that and understand it to prepare it. But I promise you that if you will learn how to do it, you will stand out, because I would venture to say, and I don't know, Shelley, what do you think? I would say probably at least half the agents, if not more, don't even do them and don't know it.
Right. Don't know it. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's really not that complex.
No, it's not. And, if you all wanted to join in the next time I teach it, you can email me and I'll be glad to share it, but ask your market center if they're teaching it.
And actually, you know what? I think that if you give it to the lender, I mean, I have not done it. I'm doing it on my own, but actually you can give it to the lender can tell you in 2 seconds.
Well, but the
if
lender,
you have a lender, yeah,
no.
Yeah. It's the other way around. Yeah.
Yeah, the lender is for the buyer.
For the buyer. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
anyway, let's go to page 69 in your book. And it's what I'd like for you to do is I want you outside of class to do a listing presentation, whether it be with your coach, your mentor, another agent, just like how Kelly role played with other people. I want you to do that because who's better to practice on? Another agent or your client or your potential client?
Another agent.
Yeah. You don't want to do that. And so read through about objections. There are scripts. How many of you actually either purchased the Ignite manual or have been printing it out every time?
I purchased it.
Okay. Whether you purchased, good. I'm glad you purchased it because it became kind of my little it was my go-to book until I felt comfortable and knew what I was doing because it told me everything I was. But in the back of your book, if you purchased it, there were scripts. If you didn't purchase it, you can go to KW Connect and type in Ignite in the search box. And when you get there, there's student resources. You're going to click on that. That's how you watch your movies. So if you've never been there, we're only in session 4. You've got plenty of time to catch up. And that's also where the scripts are, so you can print them out. So yes.
Michelle, where can you purchase the Ignite book? Where?
Who asked me that question?
Rochelle.
Oh, hi, Rochelle. We keep them here at our market center. I would ask your market center if they have them.
Okay.
Because we order them for every class. And, I don't know what they charge. I think we charge $45-ish for the book. Oh, what was that, Katrina? 35. Oh, today and today only. Yeah, no, I can't say what your market center charges, but that's what we charge. So anyway, if you go to page 72, I want you all, I won't be with you anymore. So I'm going to have to let go of the strings and let somebody else take over with you. But I want you to be doing your 10-4 task. If you don't do them, you just won't have many clients. You won't have what you potentially could have, because I don't know if you remember, but I repeat this over and over again. So if I've already said it, just go along with this fun story. I took Ignite when I first joined Keller Williams, followed it to a T, did everything it said, did all the homework, did the 10-4, and I ended up Rookie of the Year. And it wasn't because I was brilliant. I'm not. I just follow instructions really well. And I read what I'm supposed to read. So the advantage to being Rookie of the Year is you're going to make really decent money the first year. Now, if you didn't want to make money, that's okay. Don't do this. You just sit in on this. But what I'm going to tell you is do your 10-4. I want you to write some notes. And there is in this class some ideas of notes on how to write notes. So if you're not used to it, just look at that. But you can make it as simple as has to do with listings. I used to take a listing and immediately afterwards, I wrote a thank you note for meeting with me. And I look forward to being of service, to being of help, or I sincerely hope to get to list with, do your listing, whatever the case may be. And I'd put it in their mailbox, or if I had enough time, I'd mail it. It just depended. But does it make a difference? Yes, I think it does make a difference. Did I get everything? No, I did not get everything. But it's not because I didn't try and do it. I want you to Chat with your fellow Ignite students how your 10-4s are going. Let them know. It makes it better when we know, you know, the old saying, misery loves company. We don't like particularly making those calls and things, but as you do it, now you're going to get used to it. But when you know other people are doing it, it works great. And Section 2, we've talked about this. It says, study your local market statistics and be prepared to discuss in class. All right, I'm going to ask the question, where do we get the market statistics, the most reliable market statistics?
Connect.
Start
Masters. That's right. Thank you. And we'll practice scripts with partners. Just take, you can do it in 10 minutes. It's not very difficult there, but I promise you it will make a difference. And if you're the one that's getting where you're not the agent, don't be super nice to them. I mean, be nice. I don't mean that, but don't make it so easy that they don't learn something. I'm trying to think of the old saying, a skilled sailor. No, let me back up. This was my favorite saying for a while. Smooth waters do not make a skilled sailor. So if you don't give them some pushback where they really have to think, they're not going to learn. And then vice versa. So get your tools ready for next class. I want you to have, since we're doing it virtually, when we do this in person, we make our agents step out of the room and make calls. So it says, get your names prepared. I just want you to have feel good about the fact that before you meet again for the next class, you've made calls to people that could, your friends, your family. And if you don't know what to say, look at the scripts. It's really just as simple as saying, you know, hi, Bridget. It's Michelle. How are you today? Oh, Bridget's got her mute on, but Bridget's going to say fine. And I'll go, you know, Bridget, I'm calling you because I really appreciate, you know, we're friends. And I wanted to let you know I've joined Keller Williams Atlanta North and wanted to share that with you. Were you aware I was getting a real estate license? She's going to say no. I'm just going to bravo it. And you can say, I have got it. Until you get your own statistics, all you need to say is, I have an amazing team behind me. I'm part of the biggest Keller Williams group in the Atlanta area. We sell the most homes in the Atlanta area. And you can know a little bit about your market center, or you can just use all of the Keller Williams Rawls group, which there are 6 offices. So talk in general terms. That's what I did the very first listing I went on, and they thought I was amazing. It wasn't me. I had done nothing. I had just become an agent. So again, practice those things with other people, or talk to your coaches or your mentors. And then the next thing, it says, watch MegaCap 2014 sellers. I think we probably need to watch some more updated versions of that. How many of you go to KW Connect and watch videos in there? Okay, I'm going to tell you, the curious minds want to know. Go in there, and every day they have training on different things. I call it my Netflix of real estate. I do not watch the news. I do not watch silliness, although every once in a while I like something silly. But I spend a lot of time learning the trade so that I can either work with clients at that one point or work with agents so I can point them in the right direction. So go to KW Connect, and every day they have a listing of things that are going on, and just look and see if you're interested. If you want to learn about open houses, all you need to do is type in open houses, and it will bring up videos and different materials for you to watch. So you decide where you need the most work. So you're going to prepare a list of people you want to talk to. And I'm going to quickly go over before we do our screenshots. We've got about 3 minutes. What's the purpose of the pre-listing package?
To get the feel for what the expectations are from the sellers and also for them to get to know us.
Exactly. And the thing I love about pre-listing packages is that is a time for you to shine, because when you get with them, you don't want to be talking ad nauseum about you want to be asking them questions. And so you can also prepare in your pre-listing package questions that you feel are important, that you need to know to have a good discussion about how you're, what you're going to do and how you're going to get their home sold. So what would you say the 5 factors, and I'm on page 74, what are the 5 factors that affect the value of the property?
Recent sales, location, condition, competition, and timing.
That is correct. Was that Akira?
Yes.
Good job. Good job. And what are the 3 phases of the home selling process?
Is it listing, open house, and closing?
Well, that's part of it. So thank you. It's servicing and marketing. So what you're going to do to service and how you're going to market it. And then number 2 is offers and negotiations. And number 3, contract to close, how you're going to get from A to Z. And the last question I'm going to ask you is, what determines the price and why does it determine the price?
Market conditions.
Yeah, market conditions, that's right. The price is going to be determined by what buyers will actually offer and competing sellers are accepting. And it's based on current market conditions, those properties that have recently sold. Right now, we're in a real unique situation. The market is kind of crazy. It's doing things that we've not ever seen. Have you ever seen anything like this, Shelley?
No.
No. So there are no right answers right now. What you want to do is just talk to seasoned agents and get answers to your question. So thank you all for being part of my day. Thank you, Shelley, for being part of their day. And I won't get to see you again, but I wish you the very best. So the last thing we're going to do is what?
Take a picture.
Take a picture and smile. Here we go. We are done, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for your time. Have a good evening.
Thank you, Michelle.
You're welcome. Good luck.
Thank you, Shelley. Thank you, Michelle.
Oh, you know what? I told you all something that I would post. That information that I do on Net to Seller. If you'll hang on, let me do that for you.
Yes. Can we have your email?
Yes,
I just posted mine.
I'll do that too. Let me just go on here and pull this off my computer. So bear with me just a second. Net to Seller PDF. Here we go. And my email address is mmbuyers.homes, and I'm putting this in chat, @gmail.com. Are we good?
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thanks again. I look forward to seeing you all listed as the top 20% in your market center.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.